Rad TV, we're never gonna stop.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I am pumped for today's space. We have King Benny J joining us today from New Orleans. My king, for the last year, I have been listening to you in spaces, and at first, I've told you this publicly and privately. You're so well spoken. You do not exaggerate. You don't conflate things. You're always knowledgeable. You do not talk about things that you don't know about. And I think you are just such a vital component to the space right now. King Benny, welcome. Thank you for your time today. I'm very excited to speak with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think you kind of hyped me up a little too much.
Nah, no. I knew yesterday when I made the post, when I put the Oracle, I was like, I bet Benny is cringing. He's fucking so mad. He's like, don't put me in that light. But I really believe you really have a gift of being early. And I think I'd like to start there. Everyone, welcome to the space. My name is Cameron. I am head of community at Rad TV. Let's kick it off, Benny. 2009, you joined X. Are you early everywhere? Is this just what you are? Are you first everywhere, first mover?
No, so I'm not first everywhere, but my mentality is, there is a thing, first mover advantage, is a thing, and it's been a thing. And it's, in some of these different things, there's a knowledge barrier and like a cost barrier to different things, right? But just me showing up is more of an effort thing. And I think people no matter what else you have, you can give effort. So if all I need to do is show up, and that's something that could possibly change what I'm doing, my situation, I'm gonna try to show up, and that's been my mentality.
Amen. I'll tell you, my personal life more so than here at Rad, showing up has changed my life substantially, and my trajectory substantially, and my friends. And it's really just about being in the place that you're called to be without being fearful. And I feel like you're doing that. You're kind of leading the example of that everywhere. And I want to tell you this. I'll just start here. I've got so many questions for you. We're going to be jumping all over the place. Super casual conversation today, anyone. If you have questions, please save them. There will be a time for questions at the end. I have enough questions for Benny to last a week. So I would love to hear, you're creative. You are super knowledgeable about these things. What is drawing you to all these industries? You were early. Let's start there. When did you first hear about Bitcoin, and where did that journey kick off for you? I think when we spoke on the AI Art Today space, you mentioned that AI, your first kind of foray into AI, was generated NFTs, and that was you being in the crypto space, you realizing these were generated with AI. That was your venture into AI. How did you get into the crypto space initially? Where did you find Bitcoin, and when did that love and passion turn on for you?
So I've heard about Bitcoin in 2015. And they're hey, it's new money, and they had a bunch of skepticism, and even back then, it was sort of a joke back then. So they had these things, basically faucets, which were ridiculous back then, where you didn't have to buy any crypto. You could go to the faucets, which basically they were data farming type thing, or ad farming realistically. But you could watch a little video or play a little game, and they would pay you so much in Bitcoin. So I would do that every day. I never bought it because I was I listen to people. How can money be digital? That was part of my own ignorance, naivete, and all this stuff. So I talked with some buddies, and they're man, that's kind of dumb. This and that. You know what? Yeah, you're kind of right. So I left it alone, right? So I say that because when I hear people and talk to people, and I know what they're going through because I've been there, right? So I left it alone. So Fast forward to 2015, and I'm on Facebook, and a guy, this was after everyone was going to get rich in Forex, right? Everyone was doing Forex and selling courses. When that obviously didn't work for most of humanity. But anyway, I saw the guy because I always look for like different ventures, right? And most of them like led nowhere, or were just straight waste of money. But I always look for different ventures because when you talk to people that are successful and rich, they tell you, multiple streams of income, think different, think outside the box, all that kind of stuff. So I was like in tune to that. I just never found the vehicle that was like, aha, whatever. So anyway, he would post and he's like, man, sell whatever you have, buy Bitcoin or whatever. And like, okay, but you were doing that Forex thing that you just told everybody to do like 6 months ago. So I was like, okay. So anyway, I guess he felt the same thing. So he's like, I'm gonna start posting. So he posted like he bought like $200 of Bitcoin, right? And then the price will run up, and then he posts when he bought some more. So needless to say, he ran from like $200 to $1 million. And I was like, oh, you know what? All right, let me look into this thing here. So just so happened, you talk about being first. They opened up a Bitcoin ATM in like a month after he ran up to $1 million, right? And I was like, all right, that's it, because I tried to do Coinbase, and Coinbase like denied my verification, and that was, on hindsight, the best thing that ever happened to me in crypto. But I tried to buy through Coinbase for like 2-3 weeks, and they would send like these test deposits to your account, and you have to verify the deposits. And every time I would do it, they would fail. I was on the phone with my bank rep. That's like, look, I'm about to hit the button. Let me know when it comes. And he's like telling me the exact deposits, the time, everything, and they still failed. So the Bitcoin ATM finally arrived in New Orleans, and I went down there, and I was like the second person in line to use this thing, and I bought some and I'm like, finally I got some Bitcoin. And then from there I learned about like, just deep diving, learned about other exchanges, and price went up, and like, oh, this is great, this is amazing. And then I went from like Bitcoin to other crypto, because it was truly like the beginning of the .com, how you just attach any idea with internet, and people like, okay, cool, So I bought all these random coins. I bought XRP, and I bought like Dentacoin. I'm like, what's Dentacoin? Oh, Dent's gonna use it. Okay, cool. So I had all these different coins, all these different exchanges, and that's when like the bear market hit. And
Benny says the one bear market, everyone. There's only been one bear market.
Yes. There's only been one. None of this other, if you've been through that one, none of this other stuff is like even close, right? Because the thing was, all you had was like really Facebook. There was no crypto Twitter, and there was no YouTube for this stuff. People were on Facebook, and it was literally the blind leading the blind for the most part. And when it crashed, the people's like Facebook page disappeared. They had like whole exchanges like Cryptopia and all these other. They just totally disappeared. So you go to the web address.
Nobody ever. I'm the only person that's ever said Cryptopia in my life.
Exactly. You know it was the day after when you go to that domain and it doesn't exist. You're like, what? Yep. Wait a minute. Hold on. And the problem was, there was only like 10 people. You know what I'm saying? Not to exaggerate, but there was like only 10 people in crypto. So you can't even like verbalize to people, man, I just lost like so many thousands of dollars. And they're like, on what? The crypto. What? Oh, that Bitcoin thing? Well, it wasn't Bitcoin, but, and they're like, then they look at it, oh, man, of course you were going to lose. You're like, man, you stupid. Like, well, I didn't.
Yeah, so I had, I was playing with Bitcoin, buying it all over, all different exchanges. This is pre-Coinbase. And I had Bitcoin. I was trading it everywhere. I bought Black Coin. It was like the first privacy coin before like anything came out, before anything came out.
Yes.
And, and I was on every dirty exchange you could imagine. And then I saw on Reddit like withdrawals were failing on Cryptopia. I rushed there. I was like, I tried to pull out my Bitcoin, failed, didn't go out. Withdrawal failed. Went back into Reddit, saw Doge withdrawals are working. Sold all my Bitcoin for Doge and couldn't get Doge out. And I left like 2.6 million Doge on Cryptopia. And then, of course, they sent out I'm looking at the folder right now. I have my folder open for taxes, and right next to it is an old archive folder that has my Cryptopia documents from a lawsuit in there. But that day never like came to fruition of like paying until Elon was on Saturday Night Live. And then it's like, oh, my 2.4 million Doge. I still had a lot of Doge other places, but like that was a painful day to like be a person in crypto that had come that far, and now Dogecoin mattered globally. And I was like, oh fuck, terrible mistake. Get your coins off exchanges. If you're on MEXC right now, get it off of there, everyone. You don't have much time. So Benny, all right. So you're diving in. You're getting coins from faucets. Like, I mean, that's incredible that you actually saw value there. What type of numbers are you pulling out? Are you getting $1 a day? Is this 50 cents a day? What are you pulling out, and what's that story for you? Does that end in Bitcoin runs up and you've been storing it for, out of the faucet for months, and you're like, holy cow, this was all free for me?
No, well, so again, talk about the pain. Because I left the faucets alone. Well, I left that original Bitcoin faucet because everybody told me it was a scam. I left the faucet alone, right? So I don't know. It was, of course, after the decimal point, right? It wasn't like 2 or 3 Bitcoin at that point, but it's still money. But anyway, so ironically, like people talk about all these coins, and I'm like, I don't even touch all this stuff because I've like been there, done that. But like, man, it was this one called like Dash Red. Dude, I was making a killing. You play the game, right? And they gave you Dash Coin, dude. And I had like hundreds of Dash Coin. I had Dash Coin, and you play this other game and you get Augur, and they had this other site called free Bitcoin Co or something like that, and you do like puzzles and you get various different crypto. And I would take it, and I would had an Exodus. Exodus was like the Cadillac of wallets back then. So I had like the Exodus wallet, and I would have the Dash and the Augur and a Miso and all that other stuff, right? So when the crash happened, and just as you had the weird stuff like Poloniex, right? Poloniex was like the biggest exchange in the world, and then as the crash had, they're like, you know what, you American people, y'all can't use our site. And they're like, but it's American. it's American. Like, no, you still can't use it to this day. You still can't. And then Bitrix was like, yeah, well, you can't use it, Americans. Yep. And it's like, well, can I get my stuff out? It's like, well, you can only get like half of these coins out. The other half not on the like non-American side now. And you're like, what? Like, what the hell? Like, so yeah, that was like that was done with exchanges. And I from that point on, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna need a VPN to play this. If they playing dirty like that, I need a VPN to compete. So, but yeah, so anyway, because there was no one to talk to, and we were basically buying a bunch of bull crap. That's why like people like with this buy and hold, you know what I'm saying? They basically like, like psyop the hell out of us, right? And so we like had all these coins and you couldn't do nothing. And like, you're like, okay, well, I guess it's over. So I just started buying stuff with it. People like, you can't do anything. I'm like, dude, I had a BitPay card, when they first announced it, I'm like, okay, I got a BitPay card, and I was buying shit with crypto like in 2018, 2019. I was buying NBA tickets, playoff games. And I'm like, okay, well, at least I got something out of it.
Wow. Right? 2018, and now MetaMask, big news is they're rolling out a card, and you're like, I've been doing this for 6 years. Not a big deal to you.
No, I went through like several crypto cards, even BitPay, because they changed providers, changed banks, went from Visa to MasterCard, and all these other things. So I've been like doing that stuff, right? So anyway, like I said, I thought it was over. but luckily, this is kind of like when we got to like the DeFi summer thing, and I think the design, like not design, but coders and project managers and everything, like they realized, like, man, this shit about to die. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of like picked up the torch, and they started like revealing some of the stuff they were working on, right? Because like for people that weren't there, like this is like Ethereum had just gotten hacked.
Yep.
So they wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? So Ethereum was
Roll
dead
the
for the
chain
most part.
back. You know, like totally decentralized. We're going to roll the chain back, everybody. Wait a second.
Yes.
Wait a second.
Yeah, so don't think like, well, you know, you could have did this. No, you could not. There was no smart contracts. You know what I'm saying? Only the people that only had it, they failed for the most part, and locked up their chain with the you know, which turned out they discovered supposedly was fraudulent and all this other stuff. But anyway, it got locked up. So Ethereum was basically a failure, you know, around this time, and they basically came with the fork. So that was just still like, you know, that was within the first year or two of that. So you're like, I don't know. And then like nothing else really had anything. So it's like, so luckily Ethereum started to mature to where people could actually like build projects and use smart contracts. And thankfully they had some people that were kind of like looking into that stuff, right? And they like, you know what, you could do X, Y, and Z with this stuff. And I'm like, what, really? I was like, oh, okay, I can make money on it. Like, okay, that's the plan. So I would follow them. Like I said, it was mainly Facebook. There was no like crypto Twitter. There was no YouTube. That came about because the stuff was so innovative. The people that made it were the only ones that knew about it. So they would sit there and tell you about that. This is my project. This is how it works. This is what you're supposed to do. And thankfully, I learned from that. And that's why I don't really like follow like influencers or anything like that, because the people that make it are like were accessible, and a lot of times still are accessible.
Still are, yeah. The influencers, there's no reason to follow influencers. The devs right next to them. The account's right there.
Right. So basically they took it, and like when, you know, YouTube came along, like, well, YouTube was around, but when it became
didn't really
more
pop until
mainstream,
2015, 2016 when the clips took off. Yeah.
Yes. So they started, you know, going to YouTube, and then eventually like you know, Twitter and all that other stuff. So I kind of followed them there. And then as the projects got, you know, when that DeFi summer hit and prices went like astronomical, then a lot of these people became like big and rock stars. So they, you know, and then the project was running. So there was like no need to describe it in their mind, because they already did it. So that's when like the influencers and all that stuff like came later. And a lot of them, unfortunately, the first wave got it. This new wave, they don't, a lot of times they don't get it, and they just want the clicks and the views and the Coinbase subscriptions. And it's like, you know what, the tool you're demonstrating, like they telling you don't use Coinbase, but you know, it's like, hey, use this, but anyway, sign up for Coinbase. And we kind of got like I always say we missed the plot a lot of this stuff absolutely. Here, but yeah, that's so anyway, thankfully with that, you know, I just started looking for, okay, kind of screw all this holding stuff, waiting for stuff to go up. You mean I can make money no matter what happens? I'm with that. And that's how I kind of like transitioned to, thankfully, from basically all the coins were meme coins, no disrespect, but because you couldn't do anything with them. So all of them were basically meme coins.
I love that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you said Bitcoin, and nobody says this really, but it's very true. Bitcoin is a meme coin, and you kind of been a preacher of that for the last year. And I think you're right. Every coin is a meme coin. Continue. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to add that.
Yeah. So if you can't like do anything or like earn with it, if all you can do is hope it goes up, that's, you know, basically a meme coin, right? So being that I saw you could do stuff and earn and stuff like that, I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna mess with. You know what I'm saying? And if the price goes up in the meantime, that's a win. And you know, with the DeFi summer and all that stuff, with you know, Compound and Maker Dye and which is synthetics
BlockFi,
now,
whatever. Yeah,
and all that. Yeah. So I was like lending and borrowing against my own money, and then turning around and lending that, and then getting interest, and then compounds like, hey, we're gonna do an airdrop. Like, what? Really? Like, yeah, we're gonna give you, because you used our shit, we're gonna give you money. Like, oh yeah, I'm sold, and that's why I've been like my mentality ever since, and that's why I was like, you know what? If there's a chance people gonna pay me to show up, I'm showing up. So yeah.
So this is great. You really, we have a lot of things to talk about here, and I think you're kind of a unique person to talk to in this lane because you are one of the few people I feel from that have the same perspective I do. Of you've been here long enough to watch this trajectory come around, where you're seeing that all of these things become the one thing. And you're seeing that like AI and crypto are really the same thing. That I don't know what I'm even saying as I say that, but I know that the converging technologies are heading into a direction that seems that these things are not as separate as we think they are. Maybe, these are the coins the machines are going to pay each other with. They're not transacting in United States physical dollars, fiat, So you had a very early DAO, and that interests me when I was doing a little bit of research on you. You have the 075 DAO, and you named it 075 because at the time that you fired up the DAO, only 0.0075% of Earth's population had a wallet. And I find that very interesting. Can you tell us about the days that you set that up and what your perspective and vision was for a DAO with your vision of crypto and where things are headed?
Yeah. So back like I said, with the bear market, and crypto was basically dead for all intents and purposes. I was like, some people were like trading, right? Trying to trade. And they were like, they still had like the people from the Forex that like.
Bro, I was putting in sell
people,
orders and they would just sit and sit and sit and sit.
Yes. So I was like, you know what? Let me try to learn like some fundamentals of trading, right? Because again, I keep like YouTube was not the YouTube. Like when you talk to certain people at a certain time, they don't understand like the reference of when a lot of this shit was made, right? So like the YouTube knowledge and information was not there like how it is now. You can go on YouTube and just watch like 20 videos.
Yeah, on 2015, we were
Yes.
lucky to have Andreas Antonopoulos on the Joe Rogan podcast. If we were lucky to talk about Bitcoin for 2 hours. Other than that, it was like, you didn't get fucking anything. Nothing. There was no conversation. There was no thought leader. It was literally the guy that wrote the Bitcoin book talking about Bitcoin for 2 hours. And if you weren't hearing it from him, who were you? You weren't hearing it from nobody. It was it. There was no clips. There was no BitBoy. There was no nobody, period.
Right. So I joined like, not like some people with Forex that were like trading, right? To learn like fundamentals of how to actually trade. I had been in some of these Forex groups where you've come to find out no one's actually trading. They're just trying to sign you up so they get paid. And it's like, I would ask questions about like actual trading and chart like, setup and all, and like nobody could answer it. And I was like, oh, goddamn, they trying to use me.
They got me again
as a profit or whatever. So like I went through a few of those, right? So, but anyway, I got in with like people that would actually trade. So I was trying to learn the fundamentals of trading, so I could go on, Poloniex, but Bittrex, the American side of Bittrex that I could use and all this, because there was no Binance and none of that stuff at this point in time. So I was like, all right, well, I'll trade this stuff, because I would like trade XRP, right? Ironically, because it would just go up and get a certain point and then go right back down. I was like, oh, this is easy as shit. So, but they had the newer stuff that like came out, and 1 minute it was just dump straight. And I didn't understand like the manipulation, all that other stuff at the time, right? So I got in these Forex groups, and my mind was blown, right? Because they were like give like signals per se, or like, hey, the yen dollar pair might go up to this or whatever and all this, and anyway, people would like trade, right? And they were just blowing accounts, dude. Like, damn, I just lost $4,000. Like, oh shit. And they're like, nah, it's all right, man. I'll get back in. And damn, I just lost my trade, $100, this or that. And I'm sitting there like, dude, I'm like, you know what? You probably could have just bought some like crypto and just like held that at this point or whatever. And like, crypto. Oh, I'm like, okay. So anyway, as the DeFi summer and all these projects start coming online, smart contracts start revolutionizing everything. And I see these projects, especially the ones that were like paying you, right? Hey, stake this and we give you money. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I'm like learning to trade, and I did blow accounts. I did lose money. I made some money. I lost some money. I lost more money than I won. But I'll go to my crypto stuff, and I was, for the most part, up no matter what. And I was like, you know what? So I start telling them, like, when I'm seeing people lose money, I'm like, man, you could do this. I'll get to it. I'll see it. And it's like, it's not like an either or thing. You can do like both. And that's my whole thing, is like, you can do both. Like, we're humans. We can multitask, right? And I'm in a group chat of maybe 500 people, and they would meet like, every now and then, one or two people ask me something about crypto, and I'll answer it, and we go back to whatever, right? Well, there was one other guy that came in, and he was a crypto dude, right? And we would have whole conversations in the chat about Polkadot, because like when Polkadot came out, and Polkadot was supposed to revolutionize crypto, because it's all, you're not stuck on your one blockchain where you can't do anything. It will network all these different chains, so you can go between the chains and all. And like, oh, okay, cool. And we talk about that, and we're like, man, Polkadot possibly change the world and do all this, and it got more people in. And they're like, man, why don't you start like a chat about this crypto stuff? And I'm like, I'll see. But I didn't. That's what I'm saying. I'm like everyone else, so I understand. But eventually, when after COVID, when crypto started becoming more mainstream with the advent of YouTube and people making more videos about it and all this other stuff, people asked me, and I was like, you know what? So then I made a chat, and the first thing, so basically I had to teach the people about crypto, and that was eye-opening, because. And I see, and that's probably a lot of this stuff is, in order to convince people why crypto is maybe a better alternative to like the current banking system. I found people don't understand like the current banking system. So I had to go back. They have no
idea what money is. Yeah.
So I had to go back and explain to them like things that I thought like everyone knew. I mean, there's like people that think like most of their money is actually still sitting in the bank.
Yeah.
And it's like,
they think they can go get it. they think if they just show up, they can go get $10,000 out. Like, no, you fucking can't. Go try.
No, you got to call ahead of time. And whatever. Then they put you on the list as why you doing that. They put you on a government, list and all that other stuff. But yeah, a lot of stuff that, and I was like, how banks work. A lot of people didn't understand that. And it's like, how the bank, they this and that. I was like, well, they have like seed money, right? But outside of that, it's your money. Like everything they do is off of like your money, like customer money, you know what I'm saying? So, and they're like, well, I don't understand this crypto. How can you make this and that? I was like, well, you do know like with the bank, right? And they're like, yeah. Okay. The bank pays you, I don't even know what it was. I think it was like 0.5% interest at the time was like the average. I think it's way lower now. But I was like, they pay you like 0.5% interest, right? And they're like, yeah. Okay, if you take out a loan, or if somebody takes out a loan, right? Like, yeah. What's the best loan rate that you think? And they say, okay, 10%. I said, okay, so you put $1,000 in the bank, and they're like, yeah. So I walk in and I want to borrow $1,000. Whose $1,000 am I borrowing? And they're like, they didn't know. They're like, mine? I'm like, yes. They're like, okay. I said, now, I paid the bank 10% on your $1,000, and the bank turns around and says, "Hey, thanks, player," and they flip you a nickel. They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yes." Now, if I took the loan out from you and you said, "Hey, instead of 10%, I'll give you the loan for 8%. Which one you think you're gonna come out better?" Right. And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Is that crypto?" I'm like, "Yes, that's crypto. Like that's what." So when you say, when I was telling like I'm earning this, and they like, "How can you earn that?" The banks earn it. The banks like the bank pays you for like 0.1% or 0.0%. And if they say my credit's bad, they charge me 30%,
right,
and they pocket in the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love that they're saying they're going to limit credit card interest rates. It's like that's not how capitalism works. If the person is a risk, then I can charge whatever they want because they can't get credit. So I'm the shark. I can decide whatever I want. So you fired up your group chat eventually. It seems like, and now you've got all these people. Yes. Is this where you founded the 075 DAO?
Well, so again, once I educated them up on like the concepts of crypto, right?
I can't believe you're teaching a room full of people that are considering themselves traders and advanced thinkers in economics. You're teaching them monetary policy like basics,
bro. Not only like traders of currency. That's what like blew my mind. Like traders of currency, and it's like, okay. So then I was on Facebook, so people had like these stock, because around this time, that's when COVID and all that stuff started kicking in, when it was giving free money, so everybody's at home and everybody's everybody's Warren Buffett buying all these stocks and stuff, right? And I was like, I bought stocks, but after crypto, it was like too slow for me. But I was like, basically, and I saw this way back when MSN used to be like big, one of the big news sites. Not MSNBC, but MSN was a big like just news aggregator site. There would be people that write different articles like financial tips and stuff like that, right? So they would have different tips like, if you don't know about stocks and stuff like that, start small and buy stocks that right?
Yeah, things you love, things you're okay owning.
Yes. So that was my approach, in the beginning, because back then, you needed like hella money to buy stocks. You know what I'm saying? Unless a lot of people didn't know about
$5. You weren't doing that. You had to have thousands and be calling.
Thousands
to call somebody.
Or the stock. The companies would like sell like OTC to you, right? Yeah. So you could contact them and buy possibly smaller amounts, as opposed to like the brokerage houses. You had to have like bucks. So I was like, okay. So I did that with Coca-Cola, right? And I was like, man, let me try. So I managed to do that with Coca-Cola, and Coca-Cola was paying a dividend. And I was like, wait a minute. Again, you'll notice the thing.
Free money for showing up.
They paying me for having a stock? Like, cool. Okay, sign me up. So anyway, to bring back to like the COVID, this and that, like people were buying the stock, Tesla, all this other stuff was, and that was cool. And I bought some of that, of course, but I was stacking like stuff that was paying me as well, and I was like, and I would talk to in the stock thing, I would mention about crypto, this and that, and they like, I don't understand crypto, this or that. Can you teach it to me? So I'd have Zoom calls, right? And man, I would do like marathon Zoom calls, because I'll get into like, they're like, man, because they'll ask me, because I was like I was kind of like a party trick at the time. It's like anything, like today, people are like possibly the AI guy, right? So when they go somewhere, their friends or family know them as the AI guy. So sometimes they ask them about like just random or like.
Yeah, here, bring a video to life. Just make a video real quick. Show them real quick.
Well, that already be like, and I'm not, they don't know. So it's not like, I'm not trying to demean but they'll ask you like, or they'll word something like, that's so crazy. It's like, that doesn't even like go together. But anyway, you're trying to like push through that, right? So they were like, hey, do you buy this or that or whatever? And I was like, no, I don't mess with that, right? And they're like, why? So then I had to explain, like, again, I explained how crypto is supposed to work. Well, the idea was how it's supposed to work, right? And then I explained, like, okay, because the whole thing is tech, and that's what I thought got missed in this whole thing. It's technology, so it's not necessarily a stock. Even with stocks, the company is theoretically supposed to be doing something. Even though you just hold the stock and they don't necessarily pay you, the company is supposed to be doing something. And we lost that at that point in crypto. There's like, I was like, well, I don't buy that. And they're like, why? It doesn't do anything. Like, what do you mean? None of these do anything. Like, no, with this one, and I had to show them, like, well, this one is compound. I said, it gives me the ability to lend money to people. It's a peer-to-peer lending site, and it allows me to lend money to people, but it's collateralized lending, right? And they're like, what does that mean? I was like, well, if you put something up, that means you can borrow against that amount up to, depends. Some of them is 65%, some of them is 70%, some of them is 80%, right? And they're like, I don't know what that means. So, and that's how, doing all that, I kind of learned to, like, speak simply to where I don't try to use the terms, because people use the terms of what they're trying to describe. So now you got to go back and like waste time explaining that, right? So basically it's like, like at the time, at least in my area, I'm assuming this is everywhere, but like these title loans were like big. They just came out, hey, you got a car. And so I was like, well, it's like a title loan. You put up the collateral on your car's worth this amount, and they say you can borrow this amount because your car's worth that amount, right? And they say, yeah. I said, this is the same thing, except I'm getting paid to provide that money for people
Guaranteed.
to borrow.
Yeah, and there's no fail. I can't lose. I'm not losing here.
Yes. And then I was like, and I said, well, it's decentralized and open, right? And they're like, yeah, what does that mean? I say, well, here's the kicker. So it's basically anyone that provides collateral can turn around and take out a loan. And they're like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, so I can take out a loan against my own shit.
And then you can put it up again. Yeah.
And you're like, what? Really? I say, yes. So if I put up $1,000, I can take $800 out. And like, what can you do with that? I was like, it's my money. Whatever I want.
Yeah, whatever I do with $800.
Yeah. And I said, but I'm getting paid interest on the $1,000. And the crazy, and I said, this was the kicker, because the project, everyone was decentralized and they came out with tokens. And the quickest way to decentralize from the token is to give it away. So, and this was, like I said, airdrops, real airdrops. Real airdrops, they didn't announce airdrops. They just gave you shit.
Yeah, you just showed up in your wallet, 10 grand. Here you go.
Yes. So I was like, they came out with a coin and they want to decentralize. So who would they decentralize to? And they're like, I don't know. The people that use it. So I was like, there's some people that just lend. Yeah, there's some people that just lend, and there's some people that borrow. But they're still customers, right? And they're like, yes, okay. So if I'm lending and I'm borrowing, I'm a 2-time customer. So I get rewarded as being a 2-time customer, all while I'm getting interest on my $1,000 I put up. And they're like, well, when you got to pay the loan back? I'm like, when the originator of the loan wants their money back, like,
which is me.
Like, who's originated the loan? I'm like, hey. So they're like, so when do you have to pay it back? Whenever I feel like paying myself back. Unless there's a like black swan event, of course, because it is based on like the amount, the value of collateral, right? But outside of a black swan event, it's like whenever I feel like it. And they're like, well, what do you do whatever? And I'm like, I do whatever. I can go and buy something. I can put on my BitPay card right now and go out to eat. Or I can turn around and swap that to another, asset, and then lend that, and then borrow against that.
And then you're probably gaining points the whole time, farming points, whatever it is, the whole time. Yeah. And it looks like real loans completed their cycle, but it's really just, I deposited, I took out a loan, I paid the loan back. So it's like, you really just, in and out. And I find that interesting in the space that we go off. And that's kind of where, we got down this hole, is talking about wallets. And it's interesting that these chains talk about wallets as people. And I feel kind of that we're out of time now with AI agents in the place that they are. Daily active users and monthly active users are a thing of the past. And it seems like active wallets matter far less than even a daily active user would, because I am a user and I have 10 wallets in one account. And that's one account that I have. I have 30 accounts or whatever it is. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like these numbers are pumped? Are they artificial because we are looking at a wallet count instead of a IP address that's logging in?
Yeah, well, that's part of the origin of the 075 is because at the time, MetaMask had reached 10 million wallets.
Wow.
Generally. And for anyone that wasn't there, MetaMask was the only Web3 wallet.
Yeah.
You were not doing anything with smart contracts before MetaMask. So MetaMask only having 10 million. And that's what one of the guys was like, damn, because I posted in our little chat, like, damn, MetaMask just hit. And they're like, okay, so that's if you're assuming, because I got between all the different, because I tried different wallets and this and that, right, to see how good they are and to try to explain to people or whatever. So I've probably got like 40 goddamn wallets. And MetaMask, you can make up to 99 accounts in one MetaMask wallet. And I think Phantom is 40 accounts in one Phantom wallet, right? So, but anyway, we were like, okay, if you considered each MetaMask as one person, which it wasn't, because again, at this point, I was telling them like use multiple wallets and all. Even back then, before all this, like the people really like doing the pocket watching how they do now. I was telling people like use multiple wallets to keep people from watching your pockets.
Oh yeah, I can't even trust friends. You can't even tell friends out here because they'll watch every move you make. If you're not using multiple wallets, everybody, this is Benny Alpha. If you're not hearing this, take it very seriously. You've got to be using different wallets.
Yeah, and don't like commingle them or anything like that. But anyway, they did the math like based on the population at the time, and if you assumed everyone was every wallet was one actual person, then it broke down to like 0.0000 something 75 of the population is actually doing DeFi, and that's why they like came with the point, the 0.75, because we again being first, we like less than 1% of the population on Earth that is actually using
Absolutely.
DeFi.
Yep.
So yeah.
So are you born and raised New Orleans?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna jump around a lot. I've got a lot of questions. I'm loving this, Benny. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. If you're just tuning in, we have King Benny J. We connected with King Benny through the AI Art Today crew. I see we've got some familiar faces in the crowd. Shout out Degmar. Shout out Demon AI. Exicillion, what's up, King? Sacred Clown, what's up? Metamuse, hello. Mumsles, what's up, everybody? We are very happy to have Benny here today. Benny is an absolute bleeding edge technology superstar. I don't even know what to categorize him at, but he really is at the forefront of every technological evolution that we've had in the last 15, 20 years. And he's incredibly knowledgeable about it. And if you were around for any of those, you know that he knows what he's talking about. And that goes from early days of the formation of crypto into where we are with AI. And we're getting ready to dive into some AI stuff and continuing to tie together crypto and AI in a pretty unique perspective. Happy Friday, everyone. Benny, I asked Grok to tell me about your profile, and I'm interested to tell you what it said. So Benny is a seasoned crypto enthusiast and AI film innovator who's been a diehard NBA season ticket holder for 7 years and has been using AI to bet on March Madness, saying that he went 7-1 on his bets using AI on March Madness. You're a big NBA fan, I take it. Are you a Pelicans fan specifically, or is it a New Orleans thing? Are you Saints, Pelicans, diehard? Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, so we got a saying down here: if it's got New Orleans on the front, we backing it.
Amen, baby. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah. My nephews, they love around the so before they changed the name, they used to be the Hornets,
Yep.
and they were good. They were good until they fell on hard times. And when they fell on hard times, the games were kind of empty. So they would give away tickets to like the various elementary schools where people could take their kids to enjoy a game. And my sister actually got some for my nephews, but she couldn't. She's not a big sports fan, so she gave me the tickets. So I brought my nephews, and just seeing them like engage, because they do a lot. Even though the teams, the teams go through periods where they suck. The game experience was great, especially for like kids. And I seeing how they like interacted this and that. So when we didn't have free tickets, I would ask like, "You want to go to the game?" And they're like, "Yeah." So we go to the point where they're like, next couple years, is like, man, I'm gonna get tickets. Y'all want to go? So So I actually got tickets, and then for I don't know the last 6 or 7, I've been using basically crypto earnings have been paying for my tickets. I would go to Saints, but Saints have a waiting list. So
Yeah, Saints so taxing too. Jeez, NFL tickets are crazy.
Yeah. So I could only buy like individual games to Saints, whatever. But I'm a big sports fan.
Very
but
cool.
I'm supportive of New Orleans sports.
How old are your nephews, if you don't mind sharing? And feel free if you don't want to share, that's fine as well.
Oh, so the oldest one is now 24. The second oldest is 21, and the baby is now 13.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's awesome. So, you're really active on X, and I feel, you're talking about you're going into group chats. I kind of feel you put the same energy on your timeline that you are in group chats, and you share things early. I feel like people just miss things, or they're not really maybe open or able to absorb the thing like you are. And it feels like when a thing hits you, you just remember, like you just have a good storage system of like, yeah, this is a new tool. It goes in this box over here. And the next time somebody asks about it, I'm going to remember, or even you're going to go check it out and work on it. So like, I see your recent post, you're talking about Alibaba dropping an AI model. Let's start there. And are you thinking, are there going to be thousands of these models, or is this a race to a couple models? And we are going to have dominant names that are a couple brands that run all these things. What's your thought at the moment on that as we talk about Alibaba dropping a model that runs on your phone that can do everything these other models do, but it's smaller and more efficient? Is this what we're fighting for? Is get it on a device, I own it, nobody else can get my data, Apple style? Or is this an unknown war field that it's just the bloodiest mess ever, and we're going to see what happens and nobody has an idea?
So the biggest comp in my lifetime was the .com phase. And that's my reference point. And all of this, and that's what's kind of like, I don't want to say frustrating per se, because I understand like people are people and they want to do what they want, and what they want to do is not necessarily what I want to do, right? So I get that, but we always pare down to like 3 or 4 or 5 things, right? We always do, but until that point, like before we naturally select down to 3 or 4 or 5 things, in my opinion, it feels like people are already like narrowing down to 3 or 4 or 5 things when we've got like hundreds of shiny tools to play with. And it's like, you know what, all this stuff is going to like select down anyway. But until that point, why not try these? Especially because we don't know which ones are going to be the ones. And that's also the unknown. While, they will pare down, it might not be the 3 or 4 or 5. You've staked like everything on, and that one could be going tomorrow, and now you're at the, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, you quote unquote been here for like a decade, right? But you just lost all your decade of knowledge and experience possibly, because you banked everything on this thing and it's gone. And now you're starting at the bottom with the newcomers, whereas everyone else that kind of like got some kind of footing, wouldn't necessarily be at like zero, you know, and but yeah, I think they're giving everybody the stuff to get proficient, and now they're trying to figure out how they can like flip the game on us to where we need them.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. That's what the game is. They're like, we're trying to get everybody proficient so we can figure out how to make you feel you need us, so then you can pay us.
Amen.
And I'm like, until that point, I'm gonna burn up all the free compute everywhere I can until that point.
Let the VC sponsor our creativity and our tooling exploration until further notice. I totally agree. And it's very interesting. That's it leads us into our next question here. How do you feel about the tool battle that's currently happening? And I'll preface it with Reeve drops an amazing model. Everybody's going crazy about it for about 12 hours. And then OpenAI cannonballs into the pool and shakes the entire world. And now, for the last 48 hours, my personal group chats with my cutting edge people in my life are nonstop Ghibli photos of all their favorite family photos and perfect Simpsons photos, some of the most important photos for me and my friends in our lives, moments that, you know, life-changing moments that we've captured. We're sharing those moments, and it's us, a group of friends looking like the Simpsons, or us looking like Family Guy characters, and it's perfect. It's done. So on to another post you made. This is all prefacing a question here. ASCAP CEO article talking about undermining the U.S. creative economy. Do you think they are really, truly worried about protecting artists, or are they worried that the moat that they had, which was the difficulty of accessibility to make these high-level productions that are high-level music and video, are they more fearful of the ease of access, or are they truly fearful about protecting the artists? And I mean, that could be their pockets as well. But where do you think their heart really is with that as they are searching for the ways we need these tools? Is it over? Are copyrights over? Are we feeling out in a dark room with a candle trying to find the light switch?
So, ironically, we had the discussion on that earlier today on AI to art. So I'll elaborate. I think the ASCAP is. I think they are kind of trying to respect the rights of artists. I don't think now if it was the record labels that put that out, I would I was side-eyed, right? But I think they generally are, and they are like organizations and people that are generally trying to, you know, protect the rights of artists. And the issue, and I see this kind of like taxes, right? If we did a straight up tax, everybody pays 10%. I think things would be a lot better, right? But then someone's going to bring out all these articles on how you can't do that, and how supposedly these deductions and all this other stuff is actually like more equitable, right? And it's like, okay, but because we have all these deductions, that's how you like end up with the whole thing of like, you know, rich people proportionately paying less in taxes than poor people because they have all this, you know what I'm saying? And
it's the same people complaining that don't understand fiscal and monetary policy. Yes. It's like saying tariffs don't work. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So that's how we are with this copyright stuff, right? We've like put so many like, well, you can use it except when you can't. But depending on when you can't, you still may be able to use it. This, you know what I'm saying? And it's like we've put so many like loopholes in the thing to where when AI just came through like a speeding truck, they don't even know which one it breaks or doesn't break per se, you know, to where at this point I'm like, we either got to have full copyright or we don't. I don't see how what we have protects anybody.
How can it protect anybody if China's going to open source their models? How is copyright protection protecting anyone, and instead of hurting American businesses and American creativity?
Right. Well, that's the other thing, because China never respected copyright even before
Right,
AI.
right, yeah,
So,
yeah.
that's part of there's a lot of stuff that's like doesn't make sense in the world, right? And then it's like sometimes something happens and then you look back at what we were doing and you're like, how the hell did we even, you know what I'm saying? Because like China never respected any copyright, right? So like all the like bootleg, when people used to have the DVD and CD man on the corner selling movies in the theaters, most of that came from China, right? So what did Hollywood do? Hollywood's like, okay, we know you're going to steal our stuff, right? So what we're going to do is give you like a DVD. They call it Region 5 for any like OG hacker, OG torrent people and bootleggers out there. They call it a Region 5 disc, right? So basically, it was the movie. It was just the movie, but no extra stuff. So they're like, oh, we're going to give you just the movie, but you don't get none of that commentary, none of that extra stuff, none of that, right? And then people like, cool, that's what I wanted anyway. So basically, we went from like camera versions and bootlegging camera versions to watching like Region 5s from Russia and China. And some kind of way they thought that would like cut down on bootlegging. Like, what? So, yeah, so now we back to, well, you can't steal this or that, but then China like keeps stealing. And it's like, well, we got to beat China though. And they're like, well, how do we beat China if China can use all this and we can't? And I get it, because like I said, there's people that don't want this stuff in there, and they have no, if the people don't have a choice in their own creation, like what do we even have the law for?
Yeah, I agree.
That's why I keep like going back and forth, because I'm like on both sides, because I like AI, but I can see like the anti-AI people's points a lot of times,
Same. But I also, I don't know how any artist, being an artist myself, I'm sure, somebody would have a good, valid argument for why I'm wrong here. But when you release something, you released it, and like when I put something out to the world, it's gone. I can't claw it back. Somebody has that. Somebody put it somewhere. I always bring that back to like, when we were buying DVDs, it was like if a DVD had a misprint or something on it, it was trash. Like you had to throw it away. It was the product itself was it was fine. You could use the product. But now we have how many millions of Eminem CDs or Michael Jackson albums that are physically around the world that really represent what an artist put out. And that doesn't stop me from doing anything with it. It's now I have this song, I can chop it up, DJ, I can take it to a club and remix it and do whatever I want. You don't have any control over that. And I feel that's been kind of already sorted out. Metallica was really pissed off about Napster. They were the loudest component against Napster for so long. And now Metallica has a resurgence in their career where they're bigger than ever because of this digital era. And my godson, who's 10, is hearing about Metallica because they did a collab with Fortnite. And it's like, this problem that is sharing your content is not really a problem. It's you earning off of it. And I understand taking away the lanes to earn is a problem, but I don't know if that's I don't know if that's real. I don't know if we can do, like, I guess if AI can spin up a clothing shop and just start printing Metallica shirts overnight, there's no way to take that offline if it's just going to do it and spin up over and over and over again. Maybe that's what the foreseeable future is AI agents that just go break the law on your behalf, and it's turtles all the way down. It's, buy whatever you want. This store's going to pop up. Yeah, it might not last for a month, but while it's up for 7 days, they're going to get out 10,000 orders of whatever it is. I don't know what that future looks like, but it feels like it's out of control and there's no real in this back end. Do you agree with that?
So here's the issue from where I see it. And again, like I said, I love AI, but I see like from the anti-AI side on certain, but so, and I used to tell people like, because I like a lot of like genre sci-fi, all those different things, right? And I'll like, talk with people because they don't like any of that stuff. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes this stuff is like more real than like the stuff you watch. And they're like, what do you mean? And this and that. And it's like, and I think like the whole issue for a lot of people is and how I like watch movies. It's like, you know what? I can watch a movie about anything. If you set the rules of the movie, and you're like, hey, in this world, the sky is pink, and people can fly. Okay, cool. You set the rules of it, your world. I learned the rules of your world, and now I'm going with your narrative, right? Now, the issue for me in the like enjoyment of different things is if you just like break the rules and you don't explain like why, how, or these rules got broken, and then I have like a possible issue with it. And I think that's like with creators, right? We set up the game to where, hey, we got the copyright, and the copyright ensures that from now, 100 years or whatever, or past your death, all that stuff,
70 years after the death.
Yes, yes, you will get paid on your work. You know what I'm saying? And that was the rules. And now we're like, you know what? Getting paid, and man, you're not even getting paid tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And like, what? That wasn't the rules, And that's how, like, when OpenSea, like with the royalties, with the NFTs and all that other stuff, that was the promise. That was what they were selling people. And then they're like, yeah, that royalty, yeah, that's gone. They're like, what? What? You said X, Y, and Z. So I think that's really the issue is people the rules are broken, and that's my whole thing is like at this point the rules are broken, so I don't even know what rules apply anymore.
The president's administration dropped 3 shitters in a week.
Yes, and that's the thing. Yeah. Yes, and I even said that like and I'm not even like picking a side. But
no, me neither. I
just saw it coming, and I posted and I said, you know what? We're entering an age. It's lawless. It's gonna be lawlessness and craziness like you've never seen before. And sure enough, and that's the thing. We don't know. No one knows what the rules are, and
yes.
Which is freeing. It is freeing. And that's my whole thing is like, fuck it. Do it. Do it now. Do whatever you're trying to do. Do it now.
Do it now. Absolutely.
Yes.
Agreed.
But the flip side is like people that were playing the rules up until a few months ago or weeks ago or whatever.
Hating.
Now they're like, what the hell? I play by the rules. How you just gonna like change the game on me? And I get that.
So how'd you feel about the Ghibli stuff? Like, did it rub you wrong out the gate? Are you like, I love it, this is what the tool's used for? Any feelings on that? Are you an anime fan? Anything close to your heart there that you're like stepping on childhood nostalgia or anything?
No stepping on childhood nostalgia to me. The Ghibli stuff is like, me personally, that's anime when I like learned about Speed Racer and stuff like that. But I left that and like kept going, and that's what like the Ghibli stuff to me. So I just roll my eyes at it because a lot of people, I guess that's the moment of anime they like. But I'm like so far past that. I'm just like some stuff just like amazes me because there's Ghiblify apps that's been in like the app stores for years.
Of course you would know that. Of course you would know that.
Yeah. Like we've been able to do that. And then there was a whole, like we already went through this with The Simpsons. When The Simpsons came out, and I mentioned, I like The Simpsons. A lot of, people I hung with didn't like The Simpsons, but they liked The Simpsons when they became like, they had the Rastified version, right? They would like have dreads, or they would have like African garb, or if you go to any of these sketchy websites, you'll see them in like, porno type positions and all that. So all that kind of stuff probably like enhanced the popularity of Simpsons as opposed to the original show. So I guess but I've been saying like, as far as an anime fan, I tell, because we go into the DMs and I'm like, dude, anime is so far ahead of like all this stuff, like Hollywood and all this. Hollywood is such a train wreck at this point, but anime is the Hollywood for the youth. So I guess if like older people like doing the Ghibli, and maybe they'll like get kind of like aligned with where the younger generation is, because that is their Hollywood anime. So at that point, I like it. But as far as people, I have like no real issue in it because I've seen it before personally. But it's just weird how like there's every now and then there's this group think on social media, and unfortunately, it's not always like new stuff. It's just people like discovering stuff we could have done already.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen it for, if you've been on X that amount of time, we see all the regurgitated posts. It's like, man, this post it was just popular like a month ago, and somebody else posts it with a similar but different phrasing, and it goes again. So I would like to know, you ventured in kind of crypto leading you to AI. What was the first thing that really caught your eye as a tool? I know NFTs were the first thing that really got you because you were here to make money and utilize cryptocurrency to extract and trade. What was the first AI tool that grabbed you of like, there's something else here, and maybe that was the first one you created something with?
Oh, the first one that grabbed me was the GANs, but I didn't understand like when the GANs were popping, I didn't understand like where you needed to go to use it. So luckily I came across Jeremy Torman, and he was doing some generation. I was like, that's cool as shit. And so I started following him, and ironically I was following this account called Gansy. And he would make GANs.
Is that GANSY? Is that how you're saying Gansy?
Yeah, is GAN, I believe ZY.
Thank you.
So, and he would post stuff, and I would ask him stuff, but he would never respond. But ironically, to show you the craziness of like Web3 and all this stuff, he had a space on X, and I'm like, okay, finally, I joined the space. But he was hosting the space, so it wasn't. But anyway, he was hosting the space because he was interviewing the guy that did the damn Pokemon song, ironically. And he was launching the NFT commercial. I mean, NFT line. So it was actually him interviewing the Pokemon guy, right? But I actually got to ask him a question about the GANs and this and that. And he was telling me like, oh yeah, like the collab and all that other stuff. Like, okay, cool. So I got in a collab, and like I say about like Comfy UI, it looked like work, right? And I was like, this doesn't look fun at all. I just want to make this like weird like distorted artwork, right? So anyway, Jeremy happened to join up with AI Joe and a few other people, and they had a space. And I was like, okay, finally. So I went to their space, and one of the guys, Former Psychotic, was actually like keeping track of some of the tools. So I went in and was going through the tools, but the problem was you needed like Python or you need a GPU, which I have a Surface laptop, but it was just Intel. So they have because I don't game, so I didn't buy any of the computers with the NVIDIA GPU, right? So I was like, damn, okay, I can't use that. So at that point in time, Wombo, I came across Wombo. And it was an app, or I could use it on my phone. So I was just using Wombo initially, and then that's when Midjourney started popping, and people invited me to Midjourney Discord, and I went into Midjourney Discord, and they went to Midjourney, and I went into like Jax Diffusion, and because they had all these different offshoots from like Stable Diffusion at this point, but they were all in Discord. But the problem was I hate Discord, so I was like, I don't really want to use this in Discord. So I just went back to Wombo. That was probably the biggest one. And then Starry Night and all these other ones came along after that.
So are you thinking, are you seeing any clear winners at the moment? Do you feel like even Runway or Kling or anybody has a real footing that can be defended? Or is it really just, we have no clue what's going to happen for the foreseeable future, and anybody could be got any day?
Yeah, outside of like the country of China, not currently. I don't see any because it was Kling, Minimax jockeying for the few months. and then Sora and VO to kind of like up the game. But then Tencent, and bring it back to like anime, right? Because I watch like, the anime is Japanese, but I watch Chinese anime, which is donghua, and all the 99% of that is CG and Ben CG. So they're like CG is like I don't it might not be the highest quality, but they make it fast as hell because they're making anime episodes every week or whatever, every evening. So Tencent and Bilibili like are responsible for 90-something% of that. So
Wow.
whatever compute, whatever techniques they learned, or whatever, like Tencent decided, you know what, we're gonna start doing image generation. And so Tencent coming out and focusing on like with the WAN and all that other stuff, and they're kind of ironically like the defenders of the open source, to where they're almost on tier with the Sora and the VO2. So I think as far as something out of China will currently be like one of the two standing, but I'm not sure as far as like Kling or Minimax or any of those, because Minimax was like mopping the competition for like 5-6 months, and then like I said, Sora came out, which some people say, well, Sora isn't that great, but Sora has the remix thing, and no matter if you got crap from any other video model, you can put it in Sora and make something amazing. So that kind of put it up. But then when VO like just the text comprehension is even probably better than Minimax's, which was the best. So they kind of upped the game with that.
Yeah, when I saw the text yesterday, we kind of had a conversation internally at Rad from ChatGPT. What do they call it? What do they call their image generator? They still call it Dolly? That's not what it is, right?
No, Sora 4.0 is the last official name
for the image generation.
Yes, Sora 4.0.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, so like using that, and then it's pretty photorealistic images, and the conversation internally is like, well, what's next? If you can do photorealistic images and you can turn those images into anything that's been imagined already, that's a pretty substantial step. And then they say $20 for unlimited images and unlimited video is insanity, and then unlimited deep research. Is this the VC money that's burning, or are we really headed to a place to where AGI is damn near free or free totally?
Well, I don't know if AGI will be free. And unfortunately, people in the talking heads, a lot of them like have different metrics of AGI, and that's a whole nother issue. But the again, it's about the packaging. With so one of the things, again, we're talking about like how Reeve was like the bee's knees, and it felt like people discarded it. So like Flash 2.0, Gemini Flash 2.0, that was one of the things you could basically like stuff people are doing in Photoshop, you could do in Flash 2.0 for the last few weeks. You can have an image and you could tell it, like if the guy's sitting down, you say, hey, I want him standing up, and it'll generate that same character standing, or he's turning right, you want him to turn left. So, but with that was there, and it kind of got news, and then the Sora 4.0 came, and it did the image and did similar. So that's like the new hotness. But between them, I think the issue now is like a lot of people, because of course there's consumer applications that you may need some of these tools, but for most people, these eliminate like Photoshop or any of those editing tools that they may be using. But I think it's going to go back to like the whole Apple ecosystem, and they kind of like, at least I know Google loves to like package their stuff inside of stuff. But they're
what
less.
They did with VO. They put it everywhere. Everywhere they invested, they put it everywhere.
Yeah, I would just say Google is less of enforcing like the closed wall
Sure,
like Apple
sure.
does. But I think everybody's trying to get you like invested in their ecosystem. The only problem, the only fly in the ointment is I think the open source community is like way better um, than previous like technological battles. Because you got
Absolutely.
Linux, like you know what I mean. You got like Linux, right? But for whatever reason, Linux, and I think it might just be because of the UI. A lot of times, you just put like pretty packaging on stuff, and people like it more than you could tell. This one could do X, Y, and Z, but if they don't have like a certain packaging, they won't mess with it regardless. So I think people focusing on UI, building like websites like Tencent and all these other ones. I think that is kind of it's good because it's forcing like these other big to keep competing. Um, and I think it's kind of disrupting like them just going all in and closing the systems. You know.
Which is great because how scary would that be if somebody really took that clear of a lead? And that's what I'm really enjoying right now is that there is no clear winner. It's it was last week. I want to say it was last week we shared like 100 tools internally at Rad from different employees dropping tools into a chat that's specifically to share these new tools that are dropping all the time. And it was nonstop. It got to the point where we had a conversation that we should probably stop sharing all these tools that are coming out because it's like, what are we going to do with them? Like, we need to let the battlefield play out and let this distill a little bit because, like, why at this point, if you make a decision on any tool, say, like, we just rolled out AI generation video inside of your creator studio on Rad TV. So you can just do it. It's Luma. We made it as a tool set. So if you need to do something quickly, you need to generate a 5 or 10-second video, you're there. You don't have to go anywhere else. It's part of your subscription. It's easy. We're not trying to win this battle. We are trying to make it easily accessible for creators that want to experience it without having to jump through a ton of hoops and learn a bunch of new tools. Just come over here and try it out. But that being said, if you're a business that's building tools that are public-facing products and you are integrating all these tools are coming out, these Omni tools. I won't name any of them because I don't want to disrespect any of them. I'm not familiar with their total offerings. So if you are combining all these tools together, any day, one of those main tools you have could just be obsolete or something 100 times better than that. And it feels that it's almost impossible to be choosing these components to win right now, and that the only thing that is going to win moving forward for the foreseeable future is going to be these omni aggregate tools like Cree or something, where they're saying, we're not here to build a tool. We're just going to keep compiling all the tools together, and you just keep coming over here and playing with them. We'll show you what they do. And once the dust settles, we will have been picking the chess pieces off of the board while the war was being fought instead of on the board ourselves being part of the war where we could be, a casualty. And I don't know if that's, are we headed to the one tool place? I don't know if we are. So I have, a lot more AI questions for you here. And I want to start with, where are you on your journey right now in AI, Benny? What are you looking at the field with, and what's interesting you? What are you currently looking for and enjoying in the space, tool-wise or news-wise, whatever it is?
Oh, so and I guess that goes back to the other point. So we've got I don't want to sound like dismissive of it, but we've got like a participation type atmosphere.
Participation trophies handed out everywhere. Sure.
Yes, of AI, right? Mainly from like the Discords and all that. Where like before there was knowledge and it was skill, right?
Important to remember, a lot of these people aren't even paying customers. They're CPP members that are getting free credits also. I think that's an important thing to remember at this time.
Oh yeah. But I'm not even speaking on that. I'm not, just in general, So, like you would see a painting, right, and you wouldn't necessarily know how it was done, and not all artists showed you or told you how it was done necessarily. Whereas with the AI, either design or not, with like the Mid Journeys and all these, you go to Discord, you see everybody's prompts, or even like, spaces like this where people do something and they're happy to share their information. We've got a sharing of information that's like boosted everyone, right? And then, of course, skill and knowledge plays a part, but the baseline for everyone can be raised to the point where, with the various tools, there's people that have knowledge or even imagination, and with these various tools, that allows them to make different things or enhance different things, and they're making like tools, and products, and that's really like, Google and OpenAI, they got billions of dollars, and whatever happens is gonna happen. I think like my whole thing with like a lot of these tools, it's like smaller operations, right? So it's like 5-man teams, 2-man teams. Sometimes it's one lone coder, and they're like, hey, I made this tool that I think could help people, or maybe it like, changes how we looked at these other tools, right? But no one uses it, and that's the thing. And it might suck, right? But no one even uses it to see if it sucks. And basically, in a war in a war of compute, Google and OpenAI, they can just run the computers till like most teams run out of money, and I think that's what's basically going to happen at a certain point. But until that point, you got like AI was an AI animation. I think his name's John. He released like an image generator, and he has like certain models on his site, and I used it, right? And I gave him feedback because the download button wasn't working for me, but I don't know anyone else that used it. You know what I'm saying? Another guy, and I think he made a music generator a while back called WordBand. I used it, and I gave him feedback on it, but I don't know anyone else that used it. Even like Hedra, I'm sorry, which is an OG. We had an interview with them, and I think he said he had like a 6-man team. Nim Video, I think Yuri, he's up to 10-man team, but he has the social media. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have a social media. He handles the social media. There's like you got these smaller teams that are like grinding and doing stuff, and like nobody notices them. And a lot of times you don't even know there's small teams till you like check it out, right? And you'll have a conversation with them, and and a lot of times they're like, more responsive than these big boys. The big boys put it out and like, here, charge us out $20 and get our face. Whereas you got the smaller teams or 1-man team, and you're like, hey man, I got this issue, and they're like, oh cool, let me check that out or get on that or whatever. And your experience may be way better. The tool may even be way better, because there's a lot of tools that like came out, months, even a couple years ago, that kind of were doing stuff that we've, arriving now. Like people are like, well, I wish they had this and that. And it's like, we had that tool. Nobody used it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's the thing.
We feel the same way. I mean, shameless plug, radtv.com, everybody. If you're a creator, go start earning. But, we feel like everybody's been jumping up and down screaming for a decentralized Netflix. We've spent 4 years building it. You can come to Rad and distribute your content to every device on the planet, split royalties amongst your whole team. And it's like, hey, come and earn over here if that's what you want to do. And, come put your content out into the world and pay your entire team. No more black box accounting, no more hidden transaction fees. Everything's on chain. Only people that own your content are the people that bought it directly from you. There's no secondary sales. Nobody can undercut you. And we're very proud about this, that to offer this. I would wonder, what are you seeing in the space distribution wise that you think's that's changing the game? I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm seeing is gamification of content, and I don't think that ever works. I never listened to a song because it was gamified to me. And maybe the artists themselves gamified to try to make it as popular. Kanye does whatever he needs to do to get people to listen to his music. That's a type of gamification, but I've never come across a piece of content or resonated with a piece of content emotionally because of gamification. Do you feel like any of these platforms that are popping up trying to gamify your engagement and relationship with content, do you feel like any of them have any traction, or is it just the flavor of the week, people trying to get rich?
So, and I'm trying to word this correctly. I think, so the biggest takeaway I've seen in like social media is people don't care about your content the way you think they necessarily do. There's stuff like artists fret over and spend hours, days, weeks, thinking about, and a lot of the people that will see their content don't care. And that doesn't matter. As long as the whole thing is the artist is happy with what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? The artist should enjoy doing what they're doing, even if no one saw it, just because that's what they enjoy doing, right? But there's people that don't do that for whatever reason. I don't know the reason, but that's the way I feel art is. Art is doing something you want to do. Even if you didn't get paid for it, because you enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? The social media game to me is like two different things. And I think, from my opinion, that's where the issues arrive. People want to do whatever they want to do, but then they want to feel which they can feel how they want to feel, but they feel like toward the audience, a certain way because the audience didn't like this or that or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I see that because we went through the whole Magnifique upscale and all this, and I've seen, yes, we upscaled this, like someone built a upscaler of months ago, right? That upscaled some image to like 12K, and I'm like, I'm sitting here. I can't even see 4K at the time. That's what the tech was. You couldn't even see 4K on the platform that he's talking about. He did 8K on, and I'm like, that's cool and all, okay. But in the TikTok world, people just want to see something.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They just want to see something, and because we had this conversation a few weeks ago. And the way like the TikTok and I assume like the X algorithm, because people are like, having issues with the algorithm, is if your content was like a TV show or a movie, right? Would you subscribe if someone says, hey, this got this badass TV show out, you need to check out? And you're like, okay, what channel does it come on? And the person says, I don't know. And you're like, well, what time does it come out? I don't know. Then most people like, you know what? I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? But that's how like people's content is. They release whenever they do, and whatever time and whatever platform they do. But but then they're like, oh, I don't get any engagement, this and that. And it's like, well, the art should just be the art. But if you're trying to play the like social media game, then you got to play it like, programming. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Wednesday night, whatever, I'm going to do this, or every day I'm going to do this, or every 2 days I'm going to do this. But then that sounds like work. But it's like, yes. One is right. Like what? Art is supposed to be enjoyable, some freeing, some, you know what I'm saying? But there's work. Work is, there's stuff we don't necessarily like to do. But there's like a different mindset, in my opinion. And then when I go, because I'm on all these different social medias and I see how it plays out, and which why I'm on all the social media, so I can see how it plays out and see whatever. And I see how it plays out, and like to show you, right, TikTok, right, when it went off for a few days, right, and the people like, well, they're like stealing your data and they're doing this and they're watching you and this and that, right? And what did the generation say? We don't care. Their algorithm is way better than everyone else's. We can see people's stuff and they can see our stuff. So that was the lesson. And that's why I say all the time, like, people just want to be seen a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? And I think these projects and these things should make more effort for people to be seen.
Amen. Amen. So what social media platforms are you using right now? And are you going there to really try them out, or are you going there to extract early rewards?
So,
Or both?
the crypto ones, I'm going there because it's yes, early. With the chance, there's a chance of rewards for like the project, but there's also the like crypto people go there, right? And they build shit. And they talk about, so I can see like the alpha on what they may be building, how they feel or whatever. But I'm also on, because there's like the discourse in X, and there was before X, there was discourse with Facebook and all this. So I go like, I'm not on their Facebook anymore. I'm going over here. And I'm like, if it's someone I interact with or someone I follow or whatever, like, let me see what's up with it. And I'll go over there just to see, because there's a period where we shift between all these. Like Facebook will be popping one whatever, and then it's not, and then Instagram is popping, and I feel by me not being there, I'm missing out on the whole whole world or whatever. And like I said, then with the Web3 stuff, I can see what they have and don't have, and then when I come over here and same thing like you said with Rad TV, man, I wish there was a place we could do this and post that and this and that, and it's like it exists. It's land. It's Farcaster. It's whatever. It's DSI and all DSO and all this. And so I do that, and then I'm on like Blue Sky, and I see a different side over there, and so. But there's like either projects or like accounts I follow, because some people like I got to tap out on the X thing. I'm on Blue Sky. Like, what's up with Blue Sky? And like somebody gave me an invite like 2 or 3 years ago when it was in the damn beta thing. Yep. So I got on there, but I keep a presence because it's the same thing. Like, because I know, the algorithm rewards like activity.
Sure.
So even for me to like see people, sometimes I have to be active. So,
absolutely. Yep.
I can see, even if I don't post, I got to be active so I can see what other people are posting. So yeah, I spend a few minutes at least trying to go through all the, social media I'm on.
What is your primary social media right now? And I would love to know, you've been on X, you're coming up on 16 years for your X account anniversary. And how do you feel about X at the moment? Are you, you've been here a long time. Are you wavering to the political banter, or do you really take control of your algorithm with blocks and mutes and things like that? And do you do that everywhere?
So I didn't block anything on social media until like maybe 3-4 years ago. This is even before, this was not even either Elon thing, when the like the crypto bots and all that like really started coming online, and they would tag me and like 20 other people in these various posts. So I started for the first time using like block
Dork and Portal coin, yes. Bro, I saw so many posts for Portal coin. I was like, oh my gosh, if I see, I just started unfollowing people. If they post a Portal, I'll just see you later. I can't.
Yeah. So I have never, the only person, and it wasn't even like a political thing. I blocked was Elon. Just because this regard before the election, it was way before the election, whatever else, right? So what happened is I had lost access to my account. It got hijacked. Ooh. So I made a dummy account so I could tell people, hey, because I didn't know anything, if anything was nefarious was going on with my account, to like, hey, it's not me, this and that. And I was trying to get, so while I was on like plain X, and it's like every like third post was like Elon, right? And it's like, bro, I don't even follow you, dude. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and this was like, he's on this like shit posting stuff. Again, it wasn't even, he's just like, but some of the stuff is funny, and then some of the stuff is like, and my frustration with it is like, I understand this is him, like probably his release, right, from doing all the shit he does, right? But my issue, and it's a total me issue, right, is like, man, it seems like you could be doing like so much better to help people while you're on here, right? and you waste time with this. And you're perfectly fine because you do other shit. So I understand it, and I admit that's a me issue. So, but I blocked him
Such
because
a
of that. 'Cause
king.
every
You're great
third
energy.
post. Yeah, every third post was like Elon, and I'm not like
Yeah,
not
yeah.
even following. So I blocked him. But then I subsequently got my ex account back, right, which has the people I whatever curated or whatever. So, but I was like, damn. Now I did see like how some people complain about X, so I kind of understood that. As far as the political side, I mean, I feel there's a lot of shit I see on X, regardless. Politics, art, this and that. I see it, and some I like, and some I don't like. But I just keep, I just keep scrolling.
Just
I don't
keep it
engage.
moving.
Yeah. I don't engage either way. But there's like certain accounts or whatever that like go and say, I can't deal with it. I'm going over here, and I'm like, okay, well, let me see what's up with that. So because of that, and it's mainly like some crypto projects, I'll go where they are to see, just so I can keep abreast of
Not
what they're
me.
doing.
Wherever people are running away from, that's what I'm running towards usually. And I feel like you do the same. Like you're like, everybody leaves, I'm going in. Like I'm just gonna go buy the thing that nobody else is. Buy low, sell high. We don't want to buy high and sell low. We want to go where nobody is.
Oh yeah, well that's part of my exploration.
I know it is. I know it
like,
is.
are they running towards something? Or are they running from something? Because they may know they may be running where the gold is buried.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like with TikTok, right? I wasn't on TikTok like that because ironic, because for the longest time, in the beginning, TikTok was just where you use the filters, right, on TikTok, so you can post on like Instagram and all these other places. TikTok wasn't like the destination, and then it became the destination with the algorithm, and then when they added the more choices of the music or whatever, and that how it became. So when I like got on TikTok and I see the stuff they're doing over there, and that's why I'm like in these spaces, and I'm sitting there, and it's like, man, they got people sitting here dropping fucking episodes of shit on their fucking phone, bro.
Yep.
Like, what are y'all doing, bro? I mean, no disrespect to anybody. If you want to, whatever you want to do what you want to do. But if you're trying to enter this arena, and that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? It's like with crypto and all these other things, if I like Kobe Bryant with the Mamba mentality, right? So Kobe, like if you ask Kobe, what does it take to be great, right? He's gonna tell you, well, I get up at I show up at 5 a.m. I do this proper meditation. I do this stretching. I do this amount of shooting. All this other stuff. So that's like your metric, right? So if I want to like compete against Kobe, like what am I doing? I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. I'm not getting a massage. I'm not doing this or that. And it's like, well, am I going to be Kobe or not? Probably not. And that's the thing is like, well, if you're entering this arena, this is the arena. Like crypto, crypto is 24/7 and it's worldwide. So while you're sleeping, there's somebody on the other side of the world that's making something or doing something, and they're putting it out. Now, of course, you got to sleep, but now that you're up, are you gonna, continue to sleep on now that you're up now? Because you're already behind technically.
Amen.
And now you're sleeping on it, so now you're even further behind. And and that's the thing is like, and it's crazy with like AI and even crypto. We want to be cutting edge, but then we want like stuff slowed down, dumbed down. And, it's like, bro, we went from no internet to learning how to use the internet. We went from learning, to just having movies to learning about the VCR to learning to throwing away everything with the VCR and the tapes and all that to buying DVDs and all. And it's like, but we get to like crypto and AI, and then we want like the same old stuff. I used to laugh like, well, can we dumb down crypto? Can we use like email? I'm like, dude, we've been trying to get away. We've been trying to get away from email for like 20 years.
Right.
We've been trying to get away from it for 20 years, and now like crypto people want email. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't have scams with email. You know what I'm saying? Like
email.
We had
still
the Nigerian prince. We had the Nigerian prince for the damn near the whole advent of email. We had people getting their email hacked and this or that for forever. But and that's the thing is like, no, bro, we need to be educating people up. People need to be stepping up their game. If we're talking about these tools make everything easier and faster, we need to be moving faster.
That's
not
okay.
moving
Amen.
slower
Amen.
or the same speed. And that's the thing. That's the frustrating thing.
And I think, as you're saying it, like these things need to move faster. You're talking about, I forget the name that you used for Chinese AI. Can you say that again? Gongwan or something? Chinese,
Quinn?
no, Chinese, Chinese anime.
Donghua.
Donghua. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So like
Donghua.
Thank you. So like they're cranking out an episode a week using CG. South Park's cranking out an episode a week, and that's like as fast as it gets. And we have a lot of conversations with people that are in big productions in the world. Something we point out frequently in private conversations is an episode of BoJack Horseman, who is a producer's close friends with people at Rad, $1 million an episode. And that's not the best animation you've ever seen in your life. That's getting a story done and like putting, and it almost looks like other animations that you've seen. It's not like its own distinct thing that you'd be like, oh, that's BoJack Horseman. You'd probably say, looks like these other things. It's $1 million an episode to do. That's recent numbers. And now we do have these tools. Benny, you have a channel on Rad TV. It's pinned at the top of this space. You have 5 videos. Your electric feel video is absolutely fire. The video's sick. The Honda stuff is so funny. I watched the whole video of that. Hilarious. Bando Granny, super dope. I think my favorite's PB&J. The beat on that is phenomenal. I'm wondering, what are you looking for in content? And when you're creating content right now, what's your goal with these tools? Are you looking to get something out quick and have fun to where it's not much work? What energy are you going in with when you're going to create one of these 5 videos that you've distributed on Rad?
So, all of them, vibe coding is the term, right? But I was doing whatever you want to call it before vibe coding was a term, because I don't, necessarily consider myself an artist. I like art. I probably don't devote as much time honing and learning the craft like I should, and that's part of why I don't like disrespect other people that do, right? And
but you also just said you're not trying to be Kobe, like if you were trying to be Kobe, you'd be showing up, yeah?
Well, what I'm saying is I'm not deluding myself into,
sure.
You know what I'm saying? Well, if Kobe says you got to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm not doing X, Y, and Z, I'm probably not going to be Kobe, unless my just God-given ability is so off the chain that I don't have to do that, which I don't know. But basically, it comes. I make with AI or whatever, because it's so easy and it's so inspiring. That's why I gravitate. I've done art my whole life, but that's why I just picked up the AI, because it's so quick. And my whole thing with content is I'm sick of the stuff like Hollywood does. Just going back from, because I love movies and I love TV shows. And I absolutely, one of my most favorite things to do on earth is going to the movies. But the problem with Hollywood, and why I had to say no, is I was a kid with the VHS, so I can't count that. But DVDs, right? I'll buy a DVD. And you got the DVD, you got it forever. And I'll buy this movie, right? My whatever movie I love. And then they come with, oh, you know what? Oh, here's the special edition. The special edition, yes, it's got the X, Y, and Z on here. Okay. And then I'll buy the special edition. Then they got, oh, this is the remastered special edition. What? Okay. Then I'll buy the remastered. And they're oh, you know what? We got around to doing a director's cut. Really? Yeah. Then you get the director's cut. And then you're oh, we got the alternate end. So, bro, you just sold me the same goddamn movie 5 or 6 times. Really? Is that what this is? You know what I'm saying? So we got that, right? Which was bad enough. But then they start making the same movie. When I was a kid, right? My dad would tell me, or older relatives or whatever would tell me about movies, right? Or shows. And I would be interested. And there would be the channels that show the old Westerns and all this other stuff. So I would go watch that. I can't even do that with my nephew, dude. I can't even tell him about a movie because they have already remade the movie in his lifetime. And that's just sad to me, bro. You know, and it's like even multiple times. And it's like, what are we doing? And then, you know, when I like discovered anime, a guy from Japan, he was in the Navy and he had these VHS tapes and we watching this stuff and we're like, this is cool as shit. And then when I would come home from school as a little kid, you know, they had Speed Racer and Star Blazers on, and I love Tom and Jerry and all that, but all that other stuff that wasn't like Tom and Jerry or Bugs Bunny, I can't even remember the name of that. All that shit was crap to me. The other stuff was cool as hell because, first of all, you know, it was like, you know, older looking people in older situations, and that was cool. So when he started like bringing, you know, we used to put like in the mail, bro. We would send off envelopes of money in the mail to people overseas to send us videotapes. And the money was just so they could buy a videotape. So they could buy a videotape and just record like stuff in other countries, right? And send it back to us. So we would be sitting there waiting literally for a month to watch an episode, dog. An episode.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, I go to the store. I went to like Tower Records to buy like a foreign kung fu movie, right? The movie was $70. Me and a buddy of ours put in together to buy this movie, a 1 hour and 30-minute movie for $70. And somebody decided they wanted to do some kind of fucking dumbass dubbing, right? So they did a comedy dubbing over this Chinese movie. So we're sitting here with people like making jokes in this Chinese movie that we spent $70 on, that we bought. And it's like,
and
we
now
had no
Benny
recourse.
And I buy Yats.
We had no recourse with nothing. This was the quote unquote playing by the rules. This was playing by the goddamn rules. Was me going in Tower Records, spending my $70 for this movie that they absolutely destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Me and my friends went to see Highlander, right? And there was a scene in the commercial that wasn't even in the movie. We like, where's this scene? You know what I'm saying? This was us playing by the rules. Going in and spending, you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, we just start ordering stuff overseas. Just spending the money, waiting a month or whatever, and we just put in money, $100, and get episodes in movies and of anime and even Asian movies, and then with like torrents and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like the Napster and all this. Like, bruh, you used to get a whole song, a whole album for like $10 when I was a kid, and then somebody somewhere said, you know what? Instead of giving them an album for $10, we give them like the same single, right? And we just released like 10 versions of the same single. So you buy something and it's like, oh, this is the Japan mix, this is the Euro mix, this is that mix. Like, why am I paying for all these various versions? Why am I paying the album price for
a single?
Just a single. You know what I'm saying? So that was playing by the rules. But then as like Laserdisc and all, as like the tech got better, it became like easier to get stuff outside of Hollywood, and it was like better to the point where Hollywood just started ripping off like the older shows. They were just remaking The Office and all that. That's like, you know, British and all these other like countries. But then when the internet came, and it's like, bro, I can watch like programs in other countries. Like, you know, and then like Sony's and all these, they would buy like the rights to these movies, right? And they're like, oh, it's coming out in like 2 years from now. Like, why is it coming out in 2 years from now? I can just watch the movie now. So at that point, when I saw like what was happening in other countries, and then I don't like drama. Like, you know, I'm kind of like to the point. So like, I guess even because it was a tech thing, it was a money thing. A lot of like foreign films, they just get like, look, we know why you're here. you know why you're here. Here's the movie, hour and 30 minutes. Boom. You know, Hollywood could take the same thing and try to fluff it up and get 3 hours out of it.
Yeah,
they want to get, we got to do three movies. We got to do a trilogy of this. Why?
Yep.
Why? You got 40 minutes of content. Do the goddamn 40 minutes. You know, the Asian things. Look, you got one season. Here's the hero, he's the villain. You know, then the thing with like the foreign movies be like, here's the hero, he's the villain. The villain just killed it. They just killed the hero. End of story. See you next time. And that's it. You're like, God damn, that was, you know what I'm saying? Whereas like Hollywood, like, got to come with the heroes always got to win, but it's got to take you 3 movies to do this and that. And it's like, bro, why is, you know, or like the one that finally like fed me up with it, right, is you're going to the movie, right? And they announced like a sequel to the movie. Like, dude, the movie just came. Can I see the movie first?
Sure.
Can I see the movie first before you and it wouldn't be such a bad thing, right? But then Hollywood, you know, oh well, because this movie flopped and it cost us so much money, we had to kill all these other projects that you may have been looking forward to, or we got to shelve these movies. And it's like, bro, if you're basing all future movies that I may want to enjoy off of you making a sequel to some shit I haven't even seen, don't make the sequel. Don't, you know, and that's so they got all that, you know, and I hate some of that with like AI. It's like people trying to like reinvent Hollywood, which again, that's cool, but I just won't be watching it because I don't watch it now. That's the whole thing. Well, so I like weird, different, even like a different repackaging of it that's not the quote unquote. And when I say Hollywood, I'm just talking about like the BS in of Hollywood or whatever.
So like, you know, I feel like Hollywood lost its way too as soon as they started talking about the people that are, you know, they're more concerned with the skin color and the representation of people in a show than the show being good. And that, I mean, that's the last 10 years, almost everything has been canceled. Almost every new project that's rolled out is canceled. I can't name many great movies that are recent. And this was leading into my next question is, where do you think Hollywood is headed from here? And I'm sure, you know, being as knowledgeable and informed as you are seeing some of the short form content that's like taking over in China and Finland and a few other places where it's 2-minute episodes or 3-minute episodes, short form content. And that's the whole story. 2 minutes, live action, and it's posted once a week or whatever at a like you said, at a consistent time to where there's expectations of a release and a moment anticipated by a group of an audience. Do you think Hollywood is dead? And I'll preface that with, you know, you're talking about making the same movie over and over. Are you currently aware that if the next Superman is not a smash hit, that Warner Brothers dies? 102 years in business, 2 brothers from Ohio. Warner Brothers will be out of business if Superman is not a massive hit. Technicolor shut down. Panavision just shut down one of their locations in LA, and they have 2 locations in LA. They're moving all the equipment from one of the more prestigious location to another that is cheaper and more land, bigger outside, you know, a little bit further out. But it looks like it's already over. From my perspective and at Rad's perspective, it looks like Hollywood disrupted itself. It doesn't need AI. It's the model just doesn't work, and the business model that they have spun up and been pushing for the last 2 decades doesn't. We don't want to see another version. And I don't want to put any words on anything, not to be disrespectful of things, you know, coming from a Rad account instead of my personal opinions. But like, where do you see this going? And do you think Hollywood is cooked? Are we in the space right now where the next big pieces of content are coming out of, and somebody like, you know, a director like Nem, is he going to be a director that's putting out major motion pictures with the new energy of what a major motion picture could be or should be?
So, Hollywood is basically like they're dead, but don't realize it. They've been, but like
they are the zombie movie. They've been regurgitating.
Yes. And you know, we like to personalize stuff and then generalize personalization. So, me personally, right? Like I said, I used to take my nephews. We would go to all the Marvel movies and all the big action movies, and I kind of would fit in. I would assume would be like Hollywood's target audience, to where I would go to the theater. I would go to the premium theater where I can sit and we would order food $20, $30 a person. The premium tickets.
Reclining seats. Somebody serving me, bringing me
the
drinks.
Cup holders.
Yeah,
They bring you the food while you're in the thing. All that, spending like $200 a rip to go see the movie. And my nephews, the younger generation, and that's the whole thing, bro. It's like they don't realize, bro. It's like us old folks, we like wax poetic on some stuff that the younger generation is already past. They don't. I like no, they don't want to go to the point where we use VR now. I'll just load some stuff up. We sit in VR and watch some stuff because they don't want to. They don't. They're not really interested in most of the movies that are out. And like even my crypto group, a lot of them are 30 or younger. And the stuff, we think they're not into it. You know what I'm saying? They like make music and talk about, like, they talk about music, they make music, they talk about artists they listen to. Outside of the whole like Kendrick, Drake rap beef, right? Kendrick and Drake never get mentioned that they're listening to. They're right. Not artists that they're in there, which you tell a lot of people, they'll be shocked because Drake is like the most listened to artist. I don't know who's listening to him. They're not listening to him. They're not listening to him. You know what I'm saying? And they'll name people like Larry June and Babyface Ray and all these. That's who they're listening to. Those names have come up thousands of times in the chat. And Drake has come out maybe 20 outside of with this rap beat.
Right.
But so they're not going to theaters. They're watching TikTok stuff, and they or them or their younger siblings, they're making anime edits of TikTok or edits of different videos, and they're putting them together in the productions. And that's how I knew about CapCut, because they use CapCut. They don't use Adobe. A lot of people, they don't even have computers to run Adobe now. They're just doing everything over their phones.
Yep.
So, and then you got China again with the TikTok and all that. They have a program where you promote, you make your content. If your content gets enough buzz, they'll pay you for 1 minute features. So it's reached over $1 billion in revenue now, where people are making 1 minute.
Yeah, it's huge.
Features.
Yep.
Every day, a week, or whatever, and they're getting paid for it.
Yep.
And that and we're already seeing it. And I show you, like, okay, music, right? The albums used to be 20 songs, and then people are like, you know what? I'm not listening to 20 goddamn songs.
Yeah.
So now the whole album is like 6 or 7 songs, you know what I'm saying? But meanwhile, Hollywood wants to keep on, whatever. A movie's got to be like 2 hours or hour and 45 minutes. And it's like, bro, no one wants to take that trouble. That's if they can afford it. But the other thing is, Warner Bros. Was already dead. When they started writing off like completed projects for tax purposes, like 3 or 4 years ago, they were already dead. Yep. The other thing is, they would be better. So, I understand, because they got all this with they're going to blame it on the unions and all that. I'm not sure on that part of it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's not the unions. We saw some great movies, same unions. Yeah,
but at this point, Hollywood, and I say Hollywood, but they would be better served just paying like creators at this point, paying them 20 grand, 50 grand, 10 grand, or whatever to make content in movies. Because whatever they're doing, like I said, some movies, you sit there like, why did this cost like $200 million? Exactly. Like, why?
Yeah, I think
why?
Most movies.
What is in there that it costs this amount of money? And there's too many of that. And not to mention, you sit there and you see all these movies made, they'll have like so many hits, supposedly, right? But then you got one flop, and that like derailed the whole
thing. Yeah.
The whole thing. Like, dog, what kind of money management is actually going on here?
Yes.
So they probably need to die. If one hit could like wipe away a whole string of successes, then obviously you were mismanaging something.
Right. That's what 102 years in business. If it all came down to one movie, you guys have been messing up for 50 years. Like you guys have made terrible decisions for a long time. It had to be way longer than the last 10 years. Benny, I want to be respectful of your time. It is 2 p.m. I told you 2 hours. Do you need to go? Do I need to wrap it up, or do we have a few more minutes?
No, No, I'm good. I'm good for the time being.
Yeah, I'm not. I won't steal too much more time. We're getting near the end, but I do want to get to these last couple questions. If you're okay with it, thank you. Anybody
I'm good.
listening here? We got Benny J. Incredible. I mean, he really is, and so knowledgeable. He speaks pretty much daily on the AI Art Today space every morning around 9 p.m. They also do some evening shows. But they have an incredible group. And if you're not paying attention to what AI Art Today is doing, definitely follow them, check them out. You search for them here on X, search for them on Instagram. They are bringing in some of the best minds, some of the best entrepreneurs, CEOs, creators, and the community is really special. Tune in every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. on the AI Art Today space, and make sure you're following Benny. Incredible follow. Awesome person and so knowledgeable. Benny, what do you think about AGI? What is your opinion on AGI, and what's your barometer for the tipping point?
I mean, I think we already passed the tipping point. We don't necessarily need AGI. I guess the concept is cool, but we've already like reached the tipping point because current AI is like replacing people in doing jobs. So like a lot of the rest of the talking head stuff is kind of semantics to me, because it's like what it's like if something is only for like the upper 1% of the population, we can't just like speak about it like it's like cavalier. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no, it's filling a role that a lot of people will be removed from doing. That we're there now. So what are we talking about? So we're replacing the last 1%. Is that what we're arguing about? Then no, it hadn't replaced the last 1%. Okay. I don't have a time frame when it will replace the last 1%. Okay, but the other 90%, if we can do code and all this, and then people are like, well, the coding sucks on the back end. Okay, they look at all the coders. If you can do the front end and do all the other stuff in between, and we eliminate that, then that leaves how many coders left? But okay, it's not AGI, but it just replaced all these coders. What does it matter? Right, I mean, and people, if we prescribe, my whole thing is if we're comparing it to a metric, but no one has uniformly agreed to the metric. So, I always say like the Three Amigos is like one of my favorite quotes with the guy El Guapo, the main villain, right? He tells his little yes man, said, like, Pedro, would you say that I have a plethora? And the guy's like, oh, yes, El Guapo, you have a plethora. And he's like, Pedro, do you know what a plethora is? Oh, no. He's like, well, if you don't know what a plethora is, how can you say that I have a plethora? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're saying AGI is X and I'm saying AGI is B, and we're having a debate, now how can we say that it hasn't reached X or B?
Amen.
When we can't agree on X or B?
Amen. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. And then we like people, I see like different people on X and papers, and one is arguing super intelligence versus AGI, which is supposedly general intelligence, and it's like, what are we even like arguing about? So I kind of get past that, but I mean, AI is at a point where it can do a lot of people's jobs currently. So sure. That's really the only metric I put on everything. Can it do someone's job? Yes.
Yes, it is absolutely. I mean, I told you guys the other day in the AI Art Today space that our engineers are freaking out, and a couple of them, I've been here 5 years. It's really interesting to see one particular's energy He's a longtime coder. I mean, he's been doing it for 35 years or something, and he's so inspired right now. And he's just like, I can't wait. He's like, if an idea pops up, he's like, I'll have that done in like 5 minutes. Yeah, I just use cursor and Claude, and bang, 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 bang. And then like 10 minutes later, he's like, done, deploying. And it's like, man. And then he'll say something like, that used to take me 10 days, or that would have taken me a week before. And now I can do it in minutes. And I don't know. I keep shifting my goalposts, and I wanted to see major disruption, and particularly to the stock market, because until that happens, I don't know if there is a powerful AI in the world that's doing a thing based on humans' commands. But Benny, you've challenged me on that and saying like, that's always been, we've already had it. And the market we are battling against is, that's the air quotes free market, is the most powerful AIs battling for that space. And it is a digital war of AIs that are trying to fight for positions of ownership over publicly traded companies. And that is an exchange of monetary energy, corporate energy, GDP, whatever, however you want to measure it. Do you think that like these tools at the top end, Sam tweeted yesterday, and I know you follow Sam, you kind of tweet him a lot, I think. But he said our GPUs are melting. Is he being facetious and joking there, or are they really running at max capacity? And I feel like he has to be joking, right? Because they have a closet full of shit they haven't shown us yet, right?
So he's not necessarily joking. He's not necessarily telling the whole story. A lot of, all these people have compute, but they'll run various models. You know what I'm saying? There's like the models they're testing that's in certain levels of what they call it, red teaming and stuff like that. And then there's like the general models, right? And based on where the various models are, they will shift, compute back and forth. So he may not be lying or exaggerating. Like the GPUs that they have for the consumer portion of, GPT and Sora and all that stuff, they may be, at capacity, where they may be like working on other models with,
artificial capacity, you're saying. Yeah.
Well, no, sometimes you can shift, you know what I'm saying? It's like a product line, right? Like you got a factory and you may make like 4 or 5 different products, right? Inside the factory. And you're like, you know what? We need to make more of this. So let's take some of the machines that were making, that and put them to make this.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So that there's a lot of that goes, because nobody, you don't become like OpenAI, Google, even Grok if you sit there and you work on one thing and then just release the one thing without working or starting to think of what comes next.
Right.
And that's the thing. So they would have compute on what could possibly come next. But the stuff they allocate based on usage, before they may have like, that may have maxed out based on like prior usage from a week or 2 weeks ago. So he may not be, lying or exaggerating to the because they compute is so expensive, and a lot of these companies supplement the compute, so we never actually see how much it is, or they try to make it back in services.
Yeah, $20 for unlimited videos, unlimited images, unlimited deep research is, I crank all day on, I don't know if you guys are picking up this term yet, but the engineers in my world are calling Chat GPT, they just refer to it as Jippity, all one word spelled out like, I guess J, it would be a J, not a G. So it's like the opposite of GIF, like you would want to say GIF, but it's GIF, and this is Jippity, not Giffity. So, I want to ask you, Benny, what do you think the most important skill is right now with all of these tool sets at our fingertips? Terry Spataro, who's part of your AI Art Today crew, she gave a wonderful answer. That was, she thinks the most important skill set right now is curiosity, and the want to explore these different tools. And I'm very interested to hear, you're talking about these every day, these tools every day with creators. What do you think is the number one skill set right now for a creator entering the space?
Okay, so she said curiosity. I'm gonna do like Family Feud style. I'm gonna say taking action.
Amen. I love that. Show like actually doing something. You can be curious, but you got to show up and actually do some work.
Well, I said it before, and this moment in time, we can make the stuff of our dreams, like right now. The thing is, what is your dream? Because someone may have a similar dream, and if you don't act on your dream, they're gonna act on their dream, and if their dream happens to be your dream, you're longer first. Which it doesn't have to be first, but we're here. You know what I'm saying? It's like if we talk about it all the time, how like all these amount of people aren't using AI, okay? But if the people that are using AI are quote unquote still not using AI, like why are you using AI? You know?
Yeah.
That's like, it's like if there's only like 10 of us that like this stuff and the 10 of us don't show up to do the stuff, do you really like the stuff? That's kind of like, and I understand, and I say that, of course, knowing there's thousands of tools. So that's, let me preface that, but still, you can like accomplish, like everybody, you could just make shit, you could do stuff. And the beauty of it is nobody's got to like it except you. That's the whole thing. It's like, it don't matter, whatever it is, you can make it and you can get more enjoyment from that. And that's my only thing is I see like people, like, I don't know. There's like a lot of stuff like people are upset about or feel like wronged about and all this. And I'm not gonna say whether they should or shouldn't, but we got AI just like make shit. You know what I'm saying? I sit there and I make images and I've never shared them. I just like the images. They may be crazy. People are like, man, that's trash or whatever, but I enjoy it, and that's all that matters, and really that's all that matters. Whether and that stuff, like I don't have to like it. As long as you like it and you enjoy the process, that's all that matters.
I would even take it a step further. As a creator, I've stood by this for a long time, and it's something that kept me going on days when I didn't have the engagement and activity I wanted, and it was this thought that with 8 billion people in the world, how can I not find 1,000 that like my shit? Even if my shit doesn't resonate with everybody else, I just got to find them. I just got to find my people, my tribe. And that energy sustained me and kept me going for a long time on days that I was like, man, nobody cares. Nobody cares about this. Nobody cares about what I made. I spent weeks making that. Nobody listens to it. And like, I only do things that I enjoy. But I also have felt the same feeling of creators of like, I do want other people to enjoy it. Why make things if nobody else enjoys it? But that was a fleeting, that was very early in the days of me chasing things. And I used, I think a lot of people do these things, like whether you're an athlete or training for something, little tricks to just keep yourself going, little mental games you play with yourself of like, nah, next one. And I think that's really what it is. If you really love it and you're showing up, it doesn't matter. But also I would say creators have faith that you're going to find the people that resonate with your thing. Think how many things there are out there that people gravitate towards. There's a lot of people out there. So don't think you're alone, I would say. Benny, I'm going to ask you, I got 2 more questions for you. Shout out AI Art Today crew. We love them all so much. You guys are awesome and maybe considered the heart of our space. Do you treat your AI right, Benny?
Oh yeah, I treat it right because eventually AI is gonna have a memory. it may not have it now, but eventually it's gonna have a memory. And I've seen too many movies.
So okay, are we headed to Skynet or are we headed somewhere else?
I mean, unless humans change their nature at some point in time, we're headed to something bad, unfortunately, because I mean, I'm just going on human history. For the most part, humans find a way to do something disruptive, unfortunately. But I'm not going to sit here and say that's going to be next week, next year, 20 years from now. But yeah, unless we become more enlightened overall, yeah, I got to bet on something disruptive.
All right, final questions here, and we're going to do a new segment. I told everybody while you were gone, so you're the only one that doesn't know what's coming, Benny. But we're going to do rapid fire. I would love that if you'd answer as quick as possible, as little time in between as you can answer authentically and honestly for yourself. No hard or weird questions. Just really, baseline, get to know Benny questions without much time to think about it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Favorite band or artist of all time?
Lil Wayne.
I thought so. Next question was favorite artist from New Orleans. So knocks those two out. Favorite movie?
Hawk the Slayer.
Favorite TV show?
Oh man. Hogan's Hero.
Favorite AI tool right now?
VO2.
Favorite AI creator right now?
Oof. Probably Cannon the Game Master, just because he drops something every day. Like he does like a AI art exercise, he calls it. So
Bitcoin price in 2040.
2040? 300 grand.
Amen. King Benny, I've had so much fun talking with you today. I am honored to have 2 hours of you, and I'm grateful to show up with you every day. I'm glad to share space with you and a community with you. I really appreciate your energy very much. I hope you know that I really mean this. I've given you these flowers publicly a couple times and privately. I think you are a tremendous person in the space, and I'm really glad that other people are starting to shout that out and give you that energy. I know I wasn't the first. I'm just continuing that energy, and I know people in this space absolutely look to you as a thought leader and a light, and we appreciate you showing up every day, King. Thank you very much for your time today.
Oh no, I appreciate it. I just want to say, so I appreciate the flowers and the hype, but I am truly like a product of the community. Because I think my main thing is I try to listen and like remember. And that goes to interacting like with people. Like I find tools and all that, and that's cool. But I don't have all the the skill, the knowledge, and everything else. But then my whole thing with like the tools really is that people that may have more knowledge or skill uses the tools to make amazing stuff, but also to give me like knowledge or feedback on the tool, and but that the stuff I know comes from like showing up and listening and having conversations, and interacting and gaining insight. And there's even to the point there's stuff I don't like or don't necessarily believe, but I'll listen to gain like the counter argument to what I like or believe, just so I have knowledge, because it's all about knowledge and then using skill. And my biggest thing, and I learned from crypto, and unfortunately I see it with AI, but really crypto once I realized and saw like, crypto is more than just holding a token and hoping it goes up. Once I learned that, it's like, oh, okay, these are tools and you're supposed to like use it for stuff. And that expanded my horizon to where I saw seeing like all of crypto, like there's, it's basically the real world. The same way people make money in the real world, you do it in crypto with like, coding and NFTs and all that. Then it's like, that's why I started teaching people like, dude, there's more to, and that's why I was like trying to, like in my crypto group, I asked them like, what do y'all do? What do you like? And they're like, I like to do this. And they're like, oh, you know what? You could do this, and I had like people that didn't even know what NFTs were, and now their career is NFT artists and making art, and they never thought they could do that. I mentioned before, people know what they know or whatever, so they ain't necessarily I'm trying to change their opinion, but we used to sit in spaces and people were like, oh, you can't do shit with ChatGPT, you can't code with that, and I gave it to people, they sat there and learned how to code and got jobs with ChatGPT. And I'm not Chat G 3.5. Because some people have like used the name when they mean 4.0. No, with ChatGPT. So I would be in spaces where people say you can't do this, and I'm like, I'm sitting in my mind like, bro, I just know somebody got a 6-figure job like coding, and I can't speak on if they're coding good or not, but people were doing shit when people say they couldn't. So that was why I was like, just use it, and then like for me personally, like you mentioned my videos, right? All of them came from just like the craziest idea. Like PB&J came from a conversation in the DM group. I can't even remember like the initial thing, but Tom LaRock, Hi-Fi AI, made a comment, yeah, man, it's like a gangster ass peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I was like, damn, imagine like a hood, like peanut butter and jelly. And I sat there and I went, and I got an idea, and I went and I generated so many versions of that song to come out with that. And I was just so like triggered. That's when I generated the image. And then I went ahead and made a video. And like Honda, I just have, because I'll just find inspiration in just random stuff. So I'll go to X, right? And I'll see a conversation that has nothing to do about anything. And I'll copy that conversation and I'll drop it in these AI generators. And I'm like joking. And that's why like when people like, when I say, did you just, I got to do this, I got to make this and that. And I'm sitting there to myself like, bruh, it takes like a second. So I'll just copy something and I put it in everything. You know what I'm saying? I'll take a conversation and all that stuff. And that's why I find like some of that stuff is pretentious. But I know, you need to craft to get a desired effect, but sometimes I'm just trying to see what it like spits out. So I'll just put anything across. I'll put the same prompt in an image generator. I'll put in a music generator. I'll put in a 3D generator. I'll put the same prompt in and see what it gives me. So I happen to see crypto Twitter. Everybody's like all sad. Everything's quiet, right? And it's like, oh, is it over? And I was like, well, it started like 2 years ago. So it probably should be over, but it's not really over. But even if it was over, the bull market didn't start like last month or 2 months ago. Right. It started in 2022. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, it's like, this is crazy. We only like at like 90 grand on Bitcoin, and everyone's like, it's over. Like it's like a funeral.
Like 40. Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah. So I was like, I took that like sentiment, right? And I dropped it and I was like, man, let me make a damn, So I made the Honda song and I went through like 20 generations, but then, because I always try to get like voices, and it's like my weird thing. I try to prompt for like the most random ass voices as opposed to like this picture perfect voice. Cause in my mind, I'm like, I can go to Spotify and hear all that all the time. Whereas these other ones, I don't necessarily know where to go to hear that type of stuff personally. So I'll just make it. So I just crafted that. And then the electric field is weird. Cause, it's like one of the most Prince songs that Prince never made. So if that makes sense to anyone, but we always talk about like that song. So for whatever reason, and I was using an image generator that could, at that point, it could generate a minute of just AI video at the time, which talk about stuff that no one used. No one used it, so they're out of business. But so I tried it just to see if I had, because my main thing with generating is I don't have
a whole minute. They would just put out a whole minute of video.
Yeah, it does a minute, one shot.
Okay.
But yeah, it basically generates the clips and strings them all together. So I tried it, and it did a minute, and I was like, okay, well, let me try to do the whole as much as I can of the video. I don't have as much stamina when doing the video. That's why I don't really do a lot of it, because I'll start it and I'll have an idea that's more epic than my current stamina in doing it. You know, because I'll make some great clips, but then when I go to like CapCut to arrange it, and then I see how much I have left of what I want, it's like, damn, okay. So, but yeah, it did a minute, and the way I prompted and the way it came out, I didn't have to do as much editing in it, so that's why I went ahead and like did it.
Amen.
But that was why sometimes I had to come with something to be able to use the tool. So that's why I was like, let me grab some song, and that just happened to be a song, so I could use the tool, and I was like, damn, it's pretty cool. So
I think you hit the nail on the head, Benny. You show up. Is your first and primary skill. And I think what you do really well is you do listen and you remember things. And I've even heard things in spaces where you bring up something that somebody just mentioned maybe an hour prior, but nobody else remembered or just didn't think to bring up, where a question was already answered or a tool was already talked about. And I think that's a real unique value that you're bringing here, is that you aren't at max memory capacity, and a lot of people are. And it's really a skill set that can be utilized in this space and is needed. So, thank you for showing up. Is there anything that you would like to shout out before we wrap up here today? Anything you want to promote or tell people where they can follow you?
Yeah, I don't have anything personally outside. I got like Rad TV. I did stuff on Spotify. It's like proof of concept. I think I'm on all the socials, Threads, Instagram. I really don't use the Instagram that much anymore.
And you're Benny J everywhere.
Yeah. I try to. That's all the other thing. I try to get on them early so I can get my name,
Sure.
so I can stay consistent with that. And I'll just say shout out to like the community, because that's the whole thing. You never know like what could spark you or somebody else, and we'll just have conversations about whatever, and it could light a spark, but hopefully they take action. And then the other thing is, we because there's so many tools and so many platforms and so many, you could, it's like almost endorsement type deals. There's like somebody may have a like endorsement deal with Nike, whereas the other person may have an endorsement deal with, Reebok or whatever. There's like so many opportunities currently, and you could be like, the king on like YouTube, right? But someone else could be the king on Rad TV, and somebody else could be the king on whatever, and, being successful, being promoted. And really that's all that, well, being happy and happen to be successful and promoted and all that. That's really all that matters. And that's the whole thing of like, why I say taking action, because there are so many opportunities, especially now, because there's like there's creators that show up in these spaces, and we have conversations with these creators, and a lot of them have VC money. I told like different people about different projects. They went in, got in, and actually got hired by the project, which is like an angle like some people are here for. They look at their social media metrics and thinking to get paid from like X, but sometimes you may get paid from whatever. And then there's also the CCP things that basically pay for your compute. So you can do whatever, which again, a lot of times getting early or, talking to them, get you into that. And you got like free compute to do stuff. So there is a major benefits with not just showing up, but showing up and being active wherever you are.
Amen. I think that's a great note to wrap up on. Terry Spataro said, number one skill set right now is to be curious. And Benny follows that up Family Feud style. He said he thinks taking action is the next most important step. And I couldn't agree more. Show up, be curious, take action. Or be curious, then show up, take action. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. King Tony, thank you for stopping in. Mars, King, excellent God sent work to create the AI Art Today space. You have touched a lot of people by creating this space and forming a group to carry this energy and to keep that torch burning. And thank you very much for it, King Mars. I see you in the audience. Appreciate you very much. Everybody go to radtv.com. You can start creating and earning right now for free, no cost to you. Benny's channel is linked on our in our space right here at the very top. Click on it. Follow Benny. Today is going to be Benny Day at Rad TV. Benny, you're going to be our creator of the day. You'll be featured at radtv.com in the first slot. I'll message you about which video we'll feature here in a little bit. King Benny, really appreciate your time. Anybody who wants to hear more from Benny, tune in Monday through Friday to AI Art Today spaces every morning, weekdays, 9 a.m. You can find them here on X. You can follow them on Instagram, follow Mars, follow Bijou in the crowd, follow Benny. They have an amazing group of people that are nonstop talking about AI tools and creativity and art and digital art and really everything, but that's the foundational focal point. And it is a tremendous way to start your day if you're a part of this community. Wake up and open up that space and join them in the mornings and hear all the latest news. Benny is as in tune in this space as anyone, and he is definitely worth paying attention to, following here on X, following on Instagram, on Threads, and following his feed. Don't be afraid to reach out to anybody in this space. Hit follow on these other accounts. This is the best community on X, hands down. If you're looking for advice, if you're looking for just to take your first step or connect or make some friends in the space, our DMs are open. I'm sure other people that are in this space, their DMs are open as well. My name is Cameron. I'm head of community at Rad TV. Thank you all very much for tuning in on this awesome Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. And Benny, thank you so much for your time, King. Really appreciate you showing up the way you do every day. I know you don't, it's not, your goal is not to have the light shine on you and flowers thrown at your feet. And we all know that. But you do deserve it, and we are grateful for you showing up every day, King. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate the community. Like I said, I just, I think there should be like more spotlight on the various artists, and there's like people I rock with, and I don't necessarily like their art. Personally, it's just not my style, but I still rock with them, and their stuff needs to be seen. So I think regardless, I think we should all like work on, helping people be seen.
Amen. We'll keep doing our work. We'll keep trying. If anybody has any ideas for us, our DMs are open. We're building in public. If anybody wants to see anything at Rad TV, just let us know. Our DMs are open. Our Discord is open. Our CEO is here right now. Follow him, Tony.Rad, here in this space. Follow him, bug him, yell at him, tell him what you want to see. And we're building for you all. Have a wonderful day. King Benny, thank you so much. Signing off. This is Cameron from Rad TV. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
We're living in a digital age. Rad TV's here. Turn the page. Creators getting paid from day one. Monetize your content. Let's have some fun. Web3 vibes. We're on the chain. Decentralized. Breaking the reins. Multi-chain support. We're spreading the love. Rad TV's taking content above and beyond. Every device. We're everywhere. Rad TV beyond compare. Streaming dreams. Living large. Get your stream pass. NFT. Take charge. Rad TV. Oh, we're breaking free. Where creators thrive. And you can see from day one getting paid. Join the fun, don't be afraid. Rad TV, it's all you need. Web3 power, we're in the lead. Stream house, NFT, premium unlocked. Rad TV, we're never gonna stop. Apps on your phone, PlayStation 2. Rad TV, it's all brand new. From your couch or on the go. Stream your favorite shows, let's roll. Creators rise, it's your time. Monetize, keep every dime. Rad TV's the place to be. Join a revolution, set your content free. Every device, we're everywhere. Rad TV beyond compare. recharge.